Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yes, indeed. After a long time, you might have noticed the title of the game. Explain. We're back and explain what? Back to old school stuff? Yes, indeed. There is this recent release of a new plane in Explain that I could not resist. So much so that I installed Explain from scratch, set up all the add-ins and everything just to make it look presentable, because it's worth it. It's worth it, guys. So give it a chance. I know lots of haters of Explain, especially if you're an MSFS fan, but give it a chance. Let's try it out. And I must say, honestly, I have never been more immersed in an environment flying like when I fly this plane, and hopefully I can share some of that here in today's stream. We'll see. You're not even an MSFS fan right now. Hey Larger, how are things doing? Thanks for joining. Thanks for giving it a chance. Thanks everyone for joining. How are you today? Hey Tom, thanks for that heads up on that wrong way left turn thing in the ETS2 vid. Kevo, welcome back. Yes, let's check out the plane today. The Challenger 650 by Hot Start. Such an amazing piece of art here. It's a masterpiece. Muraz, not even an MSFS fan. DCS is less hassle, I see. You do you. Explain. Wait, what? Indeed, I know, right? That was my first impression as well. I never thought I'd be going back. I was expecting to go back to Explain 12, but not 11. But this plane made me jump in. Alright. Yeah, no problem, Larger. Completely understand. It is a huge time investment. Yeah, I had to set up, I don't know if it took me a day to set up everything. Thankfully, all of the products I bought before are still available. I just got downloads for them. I just updated them to the current versions and everything. So those are still good. I didn't have to re-buy anything. I did buy one new plugin though, but let's get into that later. What you're seeing right now is actually part of the plane already, part of the experience, we could say. Because the experience is not just about the plane, it's about being and actually feeling, being immersed as in the life of a business jet pilot. And I didn't understand, I didn't feel how that was before until I actually got here. So if you watch like Stevo Knievo and other business jet pilot content creators in YouTube, we kind of see glimpses of what they do, right? But this one really gets you in the scene and gets you to feel each and every part of it. And it's an amazing feeling. Yes, let's go and roam around the office here. Nothing fancy, but it's a nice addition to actually be able to walk around, even hearing some footsteps. Simple things, right? That add immersion. We have the flight planning room, which is where we'll be focusing for now. So we don't have a flight yet, we don't have a flight plan. And then we'll jump into the reception later. Let's go and sit down and start planning. This Explain is difficult to set up as old FSX was. I actually did not get to play FSX. I'm very new to aviation, so I only started really getting into flight sims with Explain 11. So all sims before that, I'm pretty much a baby at flight sim. Kinda went soft. Did it? Mic is failing. Oh yeah, I see it. Interesting. 1 second, Yeah, I'm guessing there is something that Logitech G Hub is altering. Maybe not. 1 second. Oh, that looks good. 1 second, guys. It's back now. Really? Oh, wow. That's weird. Okay. Okay, how about now? Is that still good? Oh, that was weird. I am not sure what I did. Okay, anyway. Let me know. Oh, it's weak again now, right? Yeah, I bet it's weak again. I think I know it's Logitech G Hub getting in the way. Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. I show you. This is Logitech G Hub at work. So here is the desktop profile, and if I go to explain, it has a separate profile that lowers the volume. So I have to go to this profile and up the gain to normal, and now we should be good, right? I think that should be normal now. Should be good. Okay. I hope that sticks. Yes, that's now better. There we go. Logitech G Hub is this software for the mic, for the webcam. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, Logitech G Hub likes to play with profiles, and it's not my best friend. Let's put it that way. All right. Anyway, let's get to flight planning. So it really just adds the mood, right? Getting in an office, sitting down, hearing the jets and the turboprop planes buzz past you because you are in the FBO, in the fixed base operator. We are in the airport already, so we can hear some planes flying, taxiing, and whatnot as we're taking the time to plan our flight here. So we're starting off in is it Bozeman? I think. Yeah, this airport is in Montana, if I remember correctly. Bozeman, Montana. And then we're going to Washington, just immediately north of SeaTac, if I remember correctly. So I'm basically looking at Signature FBO. If you've watched Steve Okinivo, Signature is a fixed base operator. I'm just using that as a guide. Wherever they have offices, I'm just using those airports as the possible destination. So kind of role playing it a bit, right? So this is where we're coming from in Bozeman, in Montana, and then we're headed here to Seattle. So we have two airports here. One is at the SeaTac airport, and where we're going to is the smaller one, immediately to the north, which is Kilo Bravo Foxtrot, India. That's this one right here, Boeing Field. Oh, Boeing Field, yes. So this might be near the Boeing factory, maybe. All right. Now, there is an airframe here for the Challenger 650, and this was actually provided by the developers of this plane, Hot Start. So this is pretty accurate. We have a climb profile, cruise profile. We'll try to follow that, set that up in the FMS later. So this determines the speeds of our climb, cruise, and descent. Right? That's the below 10,000, that's above 10,000, and that's the max speed. I'll share more details about that later. Runway is looking good. Let's go for the November 651 Charlie Lima. Would be our tail number. Doing good, Simple. Doing good. Hey, Alex. Thanks for joining, man. How's your ankle doing? Hope you're feeling a bit better. Speedy recovery, man. Right, looking good. How many passengers do we want, guys? Let's maybe take 7 passengers with us today. Business jet hype. Okay, that looks good. The route is pretty straightforward. We do have some waypoints. Terex 4, not sure how to read that. We'll get that later. And Glasser 1. Terex 4 departure and Glasser 1 arrival. But yes, the entire flight planning step as we sit in the office and hear the beautiful plane sounds. Signature flight, it's not exactly an airline, it's an FBO. I guess it's a bit different how the business jets work, right? Because you have offices. You have these like service providers in each airport, and if you're an operator, if you have your own plane, maybe you kind of get services from them for refueling, for all the other stuff. But it's not like you are affiliated with them, so you avail of their services. And they, as an FBO, they have different bases across the entire US, across the entire world actually. I saw that Signature has an FBO here in Singapore where I live. Alright, so there's our flight plan. Let's go ahead and print that up. We do have a printer right here. I wish there was like a sound for like printing sound as you print this OFP, because that would be pretty cool. Your ankle is doing board. Ah, that's great to hear. Board is good. Board is good. Can you not play? Are you not allowed to play? I guess that would not be good for your foot, huh? So as part of flight planning, we would also want to study the weather, right? Study the winds. So for today, SimBrief is giving us flight level 380. I wonder why. We have some winds. We have the fuel that we need, 6,200. We'll need that later. So let's have a look why that is 380. So let's go for let's try and look where that is in the first place. So Washington is here, right? Montana is here. So around this area, Bozeman is right there exactly. Yeah. And then Washington is somewhere here where we're going. So if we look, the winds are pretty calm on the surface mostly, but as we go higher, that will get even more intense. Oh my goodness. And if you look at flight level 380, this one, oh my goodness, yeah, we have pretty strong headwinds. So winds are coming from the west, going to the east, so we can expect that our ground speed will be slower. The wind will be pushing us, so we won't be flying as fast towards our destination. And yes, this color stands for around 45-50 knots. Something along those lines. So pretty intense here. Headwinds. Actually, it's not that bad. These flight levels, it's not that bad. And in terms of the cloud situation, if we load the sounding plugin here, it will give us a better perspective on what to expect with clouds. So if I click here, not that one, I click here, it should load the plugin. 1 second. Better sounding. But yeah, all this is part of the exciting stuff, at least for me, nerdery of planning your flight. Look at all those clouds there. And yeah, here in Bozeman itself, you can see there are no clouds. That's the temperature, the red line. The dew point is the blue one. When they meet, that's often the sign that there are clouds. If they're far apart, that means it's more or less clear. And here in Bozeman, it's mostly clear. But if you look along the way, if you click along the way here as we go to the west, okay, this one is still good. Here we're starting to get something, but pretty small layer will be way above here. Flight level 380. Oh, we actually have some clouds here. Yeah. Pretty cool. But yeah, this gives us an idea of what to expect. Yeah, it looks like we do have some clouds here in 380. So we might need to go higher if ever. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, looks like some clouds in the higher flight levels. Over here, it kind of disappears. But as we get closer to Seattle, yeah, the clouds get heavier. Goodness. All over until the ground here, mostly. Few thousand feet below. So, yeah, it will be an IFR arrival, most likely. But at least we know what to expect, right? You have to stay in bed. And you're not at home, I see. Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully I can keep you company at the very least. Yeah. Goodness. Do you have your... Oh, you need like a mobile or laptop or something. I have no idea. Or looked in how that works. You hear FBO often but never really knew exactly what that means. Sure thing, Ruaz. Nice. Not at the moment simple. We can get into that later, but it will take the entire stream, I think. Okay, good. So we have our flight plan. We are good on that aspect. All right. Let's go ahead and get out of the office. There's even these tidbits of history here. And Alex probably knows this. The monosupa? I have no idea what that is. It's a rotary engine, not a radial engine. So it's the thing that actually rotates. The engine actually rotates instead of just the propeller. And it even moves. So yeah, I believe this is the one that has a problem with the oil. Because the engine itself is moving. At some point, the oil, if it doesn't move for long, the oil kind of sits at the bottom and you have to do some procedures to make it flow properly, something like that. Feel free to fact check me there, but yeah, the history. First introduced in 1913. Oh goodness. But yeah, it's just nice to have that little bit of tidbit of piece of history in there. Alright, hot start flight support. Now you can see there's no one here, but we'll actually be talking with someone. This is unfortunately something that is a limitation of the platform. The developers mentioned that this is something they tried doing, but the X-Plane as a platform does not support proper modeling of people. They look fake. It's not like in MSFS where you can model something very high detailed, right? And when they tried, it didn't look believable, so they decided not to put passengers, not to put people in the first place. You'll hear them, but you won't see them. So that part we have to roleplay. Yeah, so let's put that as a platform limitation at the moment.
Welcome to Hot Start Flight Support. How can we help you today?
Yeah, that's Jenny. So she'll be helping us fill out the paperwork. November 651 Charlie Lima. And then we'll need to decide what time we will be departing. Look at this one. It actually has a clock there, right? So it's currently 3:15, 3:16. And then we'll decide how many minutes we need to prepare, because that will determine when the passengers will arrive. I think they arrive around 10 minutes before. And yes, there is that level of interaction you'll see later. So let's put in maybe 30 minutes in here. That should be enough. We have 2 people. How many packs did we pick again? I think we picked 7. If you look at times and weights, yeah, we have 7 people. So with 7 people, we'll need to refuel, and this is important. I don't think it will let you pick avgas. Okay, Jet A. Do we need GPU? No. Air starter unit? No. Do we need to tow? No. De-ice? We probably need to de-ice, because this is something that's implemented, guys. Full on state saving. The way you left your plane, when you get back, it will be like that, and it will have the consequences. So if you leave the battery on, you leave for the night, when you get back, the battery will be discharged. Today, well, last night I flew, I left it overnight outside. When I get back here, it's most likely that there will be ice on the wings, so we'll need to de-ice. And it's all like an ever evolving world. This is actually highlighting the importance of the walkaround. So before, when we do walkarounds in the sim, any sim, right, it's more about role playing. Like, oh, you check the aileron's working, this one is working. This one you actually have to walk around because you have to know what the situation of the plane is. So there is a purpose to it. It's not just role playing anymore. And after we're done with all of that, well, we don't have cloud, so I don't think we'll need anti-ice. Let's go and sign that. Actually sign it.
Of course, Captain.
Best
I'll get
signature
that organized
ever.
for you right away.
I see ghost passengers, yes. No worries, Alex. Speedy recovery, man, and hopefully it's not too boring. But hopefully it's exciting in a good way. Yeah. Thanks, man. Alright, simple. Have a good one. Right. Let's get to the aircraft. There it is, guys. There it is. Let it load for a bit. It's loading some of the things in the background. There you go. Alright, there it is. November 651 Charlie Lima. Very beautiful plane. Very large as well. I think it's the largest business jet I've flown. Let's see. Yeah. Because I did notice when I loaded up little nav map a while ago, I actually saw that there was icing. And I think there are some spots there, here and there. Nothing on the leading edges, but there might be actually something on the surface. So I think it's safe if we just de-ice to be on the safe side. Because I've heard pilot reports where they tried to ignore it and they paid for it. So this plane does not baby you. If you have ice on your wings, heavy ice on your wings, and you try to take off, you will feel it and you will not be able to take off. Let's go ahead and remove the covers here. Do our simple walk around. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with each and every part, but we can at least appreciate the beauty. You can even open these compartments. Right. What is this? Oxygen replenishing. I guess that would have some pressure in there when the plane is open, when the battery is on, or some sort. But yeah, you can check all of that. You have the refueling panel here. This is what the guy will be using. He'll be attaching his hose into, I think. And then I think he'll need this panel maybe. And then you can actually do that. I'm not sure if you can alter these all together. I don't think these are interactable. You can, because there's the same panel inside the plane. That's what we will be using for refueling. Good. Get that in. Sure thing, man. Thank you. Have a good one. Alright. Looking good so far. So we'll get the icing just to be on the safe side. I think I can remove the chocks here at the back as well. I'm checking the tires because I did some firm landings, let's say. In the past couple of flights, I'm not very good at landing this plane, and it feels so different. And it feels so fluid. So don't expect much, but at least we'll have fun. And this one, I have no idea what it is. It looks like a power connection, maybe for the air starter. No, maybe for the GPU, for the DC unit. I'm not sure. Yeah, even the GPU, the ground power unit, there are two types for this plane, an AC and a DC. I believe AC GPU is the one that we're familiar with, the one that provides external power to the plane. And I think the DC GPU is just for recharging the battery, if I got that right. Might have some icing in here. Here we have actually the APU fault test, and that works. But we need to have the plane powered and the APU powered before we can fiddle with that. But yes, sometimes you get a fault in the APU. You have to go back here and have to reset it if everything is okay and if it doesn't happen again. So it does happen. It has happened to some folks. It's nice reading through the Discord of the developer because you get different experiences of the people who bought this and have been flying this. So you get to have an idea of what it can do. Alright, but yeah, walk around looks more or less okay. Let's remove the chocks there. In the front, we'll keep the chocks. Now it's time to open. I have even had no idea how to open these doors. Are you guys familiar how to open this? I had no idea. You actually have to push this. And that kind of springs. Right, and this lever kind of opens, right, and then you kind of like rotate it to unlock it, and now that's unlocked. And there's a key there to lock the thing, so you can't do that, but that's not implemented. So here now we open it, we just pull it a bit and let gravity take its course. Listen to the sounds. The creaking is just ASMR. Goodness. Alright, here we go. And now we're actually climbing on board the plane after all our preps. Here we go. There's the plane. There's the fancy business seats. You have even like champagne glasses here and everything. A flight deck. We can have our... Oh, I can't open this yet because the battery is closed. Okay, but yes, looks good. You can sit down on any seat. Alright. Oh, you hear something? Yeah, that's the fuel truck, guys. The fuel truck is here. Maybe here. Yeah, the fuel truck is here. So I'm not sure what the name of the guy is, but he'll probably climb on board soon and ask us some things because he'll need some info to refuel properly. Right, some snacks here. Lavatory, anyone? Good. Can even sit down here. That might need to be censored. But pretty cool. And all of these have their own lighting. Hey, Crinzin. This is part of the add-on. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, this is why it's such a nice part of the experience, the entire thing. Infinite Pilot, thank you for following. Looking great. Alright. Looks good. Let's go and sit down and let's go and turn on the battery. And as I mentioned, it has complete state saving. So however you left it, it will be like that. My flight plan from the previous flight is still here. So we'll have to clean that up later. So that's part of everything. Gives you real sense of ownership of the plane. You can't just leave it like
All right,
hanging.
Captain. Fuel truck is hooked
There's
up.
the guy.
Just let me know how much fuel you need. Or would you like to go tanks full today?
Okay, so now we have to do some maths because we have our flight plan, right? And we know that we want around 6,200 pounds of fuel. Okay, so first things first, we need to see how much we have on the plane. And this is pretty cool. This is so useful. The pop-up feature is just so handy for displaying information immediately instead of having to zoom in and whatnot. It's very useful. So right now, and even the sensing of the fuel is realistic. It doesn't just like snap and then you turn on the battery and it knows everything. There's even that kind of sensing that it takes time to sense the fuel. So there is a bit of inaccuracy in there. So let's say we have around 3,000 maybe, and we need around 6.2. So let's say we need around 3,230, 3.5 maybe. So 3.5, and this one is a bit tricky as well because you'll actually, and this is a good insight. I never knew this is how it worked. Apparently, when the guys refuel, you don't just tell them, oh, I need 6,000 pounds. Refuel me to 6,000. No, it doesn't work like that. The guys who refuel, they only speak in gallons. So you have to convert from pounds to gallons, right? From the weight to the volume kind of thing. And that is based on density. And density is based on temperature. So depending on the temperature, it can be more dense. So the numbers will change and whatnot. So we need around, what did we say? 3,500 pounds, more or less. And today the density is 6.789, and this is real life. This is how the guys actually tell you the density, and you have to compute for yourself. So we need 3,500 pounds divided by 6.789. That amounts to around 516 gallons. So that's how much we'll need to pump in. So 516. Let's maybe put in 520 to be on the safe side.
All right, I'm gonna go start up the pump.
Yeah, I know, right? Same here, Crimson. Same here. Yeah. Alright, so now he's starting the pump, but we're not done. Because now we have to open this fuel panel in here for refueling. So, and this one, we have to have our timing just right. Because he's going to start the pump. And I have to open the shut-off valves here. So we want to fill the left and right main tanks. That's the only ones we'll need today. So I have to open those. And I have to confirm that they are opened. And there you go. And that should start refueling. Let's try and wait for the numbers to go up. There we go. Okay. That's starting to go up. You guys want the music? Or do you just want the ambiance of the fuel truck and everything? Let's see. Let's put it this way and see if you guys like that better. Alright, so we have the battery open. We have everything is pop-upable because you have lots of buttons. And you can do that. Put it in another screen if that's your thing, and it just makes it much easier to access. And then you can map all these buttons to your keyboard. There are custom bindings that you can do built in the sim, in this plane rather. So if you go to summary, we'll get an idea. Our main battery 24 volts, 15 amps. I have no idea if that's enough. I hope so. But anyway, we'll start our APU here because we didn't request for a GPU, so we'll start our APU. So power fuel for the APU, that should open this one. Yeah, APU. RPM is 0, EGT is 19. Let's go and start it up. Turn on our nav and logo lights as well to indicate that the plane is turned on. For anyone outside, that's so they would know. There we go. Can we hear that actually? 1 second. If I can let you hear that APU. External. Yeah, it is here. Second, huh? Yeah, that's the APU there with the exhaust. Oh, 1 second. I forgot my controller. 1 second. Okay, yeah, Bombardier. There we go. Now I can scroll easier. Thank you, Mrs. Clumsy. So there's the APU exhaust. And why it's weak? It's weak because of a certain setting. So if I remove it, it will actually it might be too loud. But it has a built-in setting, like I mentioned. It's the attention to details. If you look at the audio, reduce external volume when outside. So normally when you go outside, the sounds will be booming, right? Because it's in reality it's that loud. But you can set it up so that whenever you go outside, it immediately lessens the volume. So those attention to details just improves the experience. So if I remove this, take note, okay, it might get loud. That's how it should be. But for our ears, I think that is easier. Dirty old diesel rattle, exactly. Yeah, I love the idle sound. Okay, good. Let's get back here. Thank you for following. Luxair Sim Pilot. Welcome to the stream, guys. Alright, let's turn on track IR here. Looking good. We have our APU on, and the plane is complaining. Yes, you have your APU on, but the generator is still off.
Refueling is complete, Captain. Do you need anything else?
Oh, you're done? That's quick. Thank you. Yeah, we do have 6420 now. No, we're good. Thank you. You can go ahead and disconnect.
Just one quick signature on here, and I'll be on my way.
And this one actually gives you a perspective. Like I say, right, the immersion is king in this one. It gives you a perspective on how much fuel is. And this price is realistic depending on where you are, depending on the time of the year, the exact price. They get it online. So that's $5.11 per gallon. I'm not sure if that's expensive or not, but $2,000 sure sounds expensive in my brain. But that's not my money. So let's just sign
Here's
it.
a copy for your records. Have a nice day.
Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and shut off this one because we're done refueling. Close that. Close this. Okay, we're good. And let's go and sit back down. All right, let's continue. That's a lot of bill, I know, right? Exactly. All right, so yes, complaining APU gen off. So let's start the APU generator right here. There we go. Start hearing the avionics fans. Everything is starting up. You see a fail there, which looks wrong, but that's actually normal. We just disconnect the ATS using a button right here on the throttle, which I have mapped to remove that. Because seeing a fail there is not very encouraging, is it? There is also an HLIS, hard landing indicator system. So it kind of records your past landings, past 8 landings, and gives you the delta G. I'm not sure what number is good, but less than 1 I think is okay, or 1 even is a firm landing, but it's okay. And then as you click through this, it will cycle through your past landings. Look at this, I have a 1.1. But yeah, it's modeled in there, and if it fails, I think that indicator lights up. Locally for you, Jet A is $4.20 per gallon. Oh, I see. Okay, this is expensive then, huh? I see. All right, thank you. Thanks for that point of view. Now, interestingly, it looks like IRS is aligned already. That was fast. Maybe it started aligning when we turned on our batteries. Okay, that's good then. Because this plane, it automatically aligns the IRS. You don't need to go to nav mode like in other planes. Not exactly sure how that works, but it does it like it. And the most amazing thing, you have your checklist in here, right? That's not all. There's actually an audio tone, and you can map the progress, the checklist button to a key so you can progress easily and fast. Hey, Grey Dog! Thanks for joining, man. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting to showcase this plane, and now we finally get the chance. All right, let's go and progress.
Flight compartment checklist. AC and DC electrics.
That voice is from Toto, the developer, the main developer of this plane, and he knows his stuff definitely. He was streaming this before it released, and oh my goodness, all the details in there. And you have these hints, kind of, if you're kind of lost, so you're not starting from scratch. So we just check the AC electrical. Yeah, you can see that AP generator is working. It's providing power to bus 1 and 2, and also to the essential bus. And then DC electrical looks good. So basically you match those diagrams if you don't know what that looks like. Like me, I don't. I just follow what's stated there.
Nav lights, logo light.
Nav lights and logo lights are
Cockpit
on.
lights.
Cockpit lights are
Lamp
okay.
test.
Lamp test, so we can do a lamp test. You can have like this one, check that all the lamps are working. You have 2 sets here, so that's the second set. Everything looks good. Yeah.
Duct monitor.
Duct monitor. I'm going to skip through some of the steps, guys, because it is going to take super long if you do all of them.
FMS database status.
Alright, like I mentioned a while ago about cleaning up the plane, we'll need to do that. So you see the flight plan here from my previous flight. We'll have to reset that, and we do that by just cycling the active database. So there is a secondary database, and we just cycle it through. We want to use the updated one, this guy. Good, that looks good.
FMS flight plan uplink. ATIS.
Now the pause in it is not included in the checklist, but I think, not sure, but I would want to do that anyway here. There we go, just to be on the safe side. Alright, so what we do is we can actually get this. So we had a debrief flight plan, right? We can actually sync that here. So if you go to index, root menu, flight plan recall, we just enter the origin and destination. In this one you can pop up as well, so you can type using the keyboard to make things faster. So it's just really user friendly. Or you can type things on the FMS itself. So depending on how you want your immersion to be. Awesome, Gray. This is not a truck. No worries, man. No worries. All good. Thanks for being here. Yeah, night and day in terms of details. Visuals, of course, the MSF is way higher. The reflections, the lighting, the textures, maybe how dynamic the textures look like. MSFS really is a world apart. But in terms of the systems, the details, my goodness. Let me show you. You know the title, it says I didn't know what study level was. Look at this. There is an entire study section in here. And yes, you can actually study. And I understood now a little bit more how the bleed air works because of this. Right? And all of these are dynamic. When you start the engine, these numbers start changing and the turbine starts spinning. And then you can mouse over and get more idea on what it is. So this is really study level because you can study how it works as it goes, as it happens. And later on, we'll try to understand the bleed air because that's the bleed system. This has always been a very not shady, but very confusing topic for me. I didn't really understand it. But now I have a bit better idea how it works because I can visualize. When I press a button, these valves change and so that's what happens. And then sometimes it closes. Why does it close? Because it overloads or something like that. So those levels, it's just such an amazing thing to be able to see that firsthand. Yeah. So I really hope that's the other developers take that as well. Alright, so that's loaded, but we won't be planning that for now fully. That looks good.
Anti-skid.
Anti-skid, it's basic test here. Yeah, anti-skid test.
Nose
okay.
door.
Nose door. There's no one
Hydraulic
there.
3A pump.
Hydraulic 3A, that does sound familiar for those who fly the CRJ. Yeah, because apparently this Challenger is the basis of the CRJ. But interestingly, so this is like the predecessor. Maybe you could, not exactly, because in many ways this is more advanced. It has an auto throttle. But yeah, some of the buttons, some of the systems, they are familiar. They are very similar to the CRJ.
Brake pressure.
Brake pressure would be here under summary. Yeah, inbound brakes because we turned on the hydraulic pumps. Yeah, so that's going to be applying the pressure on the inbound brakes as well. Adding pressure there.
Parking brake. Parking
brake is not yet set. So let's go ahead and set that. In this one, the simple details like these. The parking brake you cannot just press. Like in real life, apparently, you have to step on the toe brakes fully and then you engage or disengage the parking brake. Otherwise, it doesn't catch. So it's the same thing here. So otherwise, if you just pull it, I think it will get pulled, but it will not indicate in there that parking brake is on. Something like that.
Nose door.
So you learn these little things that you're not really aware of if you're not a real life pilot like me. I'm not a real life pilot, so I learned these things here,
Hydraulic panel and pump.
it's really adding to the immersion. All right, there is a test for the entire hydraulic system. We'll just do a shortcut and just put them all to auto.
Electric panel.
Electric panel, yes. AC generator, yeah, that's also
AC
off.
DC utility switch.
ADC DC utility is basically for the passengers at the back, so that enables all the fancy stuff there, the screens and whatnot. Let me show you, take you on a bit of a tour. Canada, eh? Yes. Yeah, this is Bombardier, yes. So you have an actual panel in here, and this is super cool. This is also, you can also pop it up, because this gives you, you know how it looks like when you fly as a passenger? That screen that shows the progress of the flight? It looks exactly like this, with all those stats, like what's your ground speed, how many kilometers per hour, how long will it take, and things like that. So that's all part of the experience. Right, let's get back here.
Start ignition panel.
Start ignition, yeah, ignition. Oh, someone's calling. All right, let's go and answer it. This must be Jenny.
Hello, Captain. It's Jenny from Hot Start Flight Support. Your passengers have arrived.
We're running a bit
Shall
late.
I have
Crap.
them brought to the plane?
The passengers are here already. Okay, but yes.
Understood. They'll be there in a couple of minutes.
It's good
Anything
that they're
else?
here early and as compared to when they're late.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
Okay, good. So they're coming. We should see a van here later, although I always tend to miss it. And then they'll be on boarding. But as always, no actual passenger models are displayed because of the platform's limitations, unfortunately. So we won't see people, but we'll hear them at least. Right.
Fuel panel.
Fuel panel. Oh yeah, this is fun. This is like a mini game. There's an entire system about this. I won't go through in detail, but I read it. You can read it here as well. But yeah, it's so the sequence is you turn this on. That enables both boost pumps. Left to aux, that gets enabled. Gravity cross flow, that gets enabled. But if you turn on the right aux, that gets disabled because you can't have both left and right open at the same time. And maybe we can actually show that here. Fuel system, yes. So you have the left firewall, shut off valve. No, where is it? The aux tank. There is the transfer. 1 second, huh? No, this one, transfer system. There you go. That's why I couldn't find it. So you have the gravity transfer. Look at this. When I click these ones. So this is the, like, look at this valve here. If I close it, that's the one, that's the gravity transfer. So when I open it, that allows the flow from the left to right trunks based on gravity, right? And then the left to right aux, that's on, that shows you that's there, right? It's just, everything is dynamic and you can see it in real time, the fuel flow and everything. And it gives you a better understanding of what's happening when you click buttons. It's such an amazing thing. The study level, as I mentioned, right? Because you study, literally. It's amazing. It's just, for a nerd like me, I love learning these things. I'm not sure if it's the same for you, but yeah, this is something that I really enjoy doing. If I'm curious about something, I want to learn about it, and it's built in. I don't have to Google anymore. I hear footsteps. The van is there. So the passengers are boarding the plane. Developer is Hot Start. They're the same guys behind the TBM 900 for X-Plane as well. And apparently the main developer there, Toto, is the same one behind the Better Pushback plugin on X-Plane. It's a very famous one. Everyone uses it. And the same guy behind the rain effects, I think. So it's all the same guy. So genius. The genius at work. Okay.
APU LCV.
APLCV, so like this one, the bleed air system. What is the 10th stage, 14th stage? When I first saw this, it's like, what the heck is this? But then after you open the panels and get an idea of what it is, then it kind of starts making
Hello,
sense.
Captain. Hope you are doing well today. Great. There's nobody else coming along today, so as far as we're concerned, we're all good to go.
Okay. Good, thank you. The voice acting could do a bit of improvement. It sounds a bit synthesized, right? But we can roleplay it the rest of the way, I think. So the passengers are loaded. Now we have to close the door. Let's go ahead and make sure Maybe Takeoff. No, later. Ideally, by the time the passengers get here, if I was not taking my time, I should have turned on the packs already, because if you look, the cabin temperature is still 2 degrees inside. So not ideal for our fancy passengers. So ideally, when they get here, I should have reached that step already. The packs are on so that they are comfortable in a 21 degrees Celsius setting, whatnot. But they can live with it. Let's close the door here. So we pull this handle, hold it. You can hear the squeaking. We're not done. We're still going to lock it right here. In the flap, a while ago, the thing that pops out, that's still open. So we have to go down here and actually pull it up here. And that's now fully closed. And we can verify that if we look here and say is parking brake on in green. No, PAX door closed, sorry. PAX door closed in green. Then that verifies that it is indeed closed. So now we can, there's even this curtain right here, because I mean, looking at that, right, if you're a fancy business person, seeing that kind of contraption, it's a bit like seeing the underbelly of an engine, right? So what do? We hide it. We have a curtain. So even that level of detail is here. Okay, let's go with that. Let's continue. Where were we? We can double check. APU LCV. Oh yes, the what is it called again? LCV. Let's have a look. APU. So the APU is open. It's not that I wanted to see. It's the bleed system that I wanted to understand. This one. LCV, that's the guy. It's the bleed outlet. So we see that from the APU, you even see the colors. So the heat, the bleed from the APU is there, but it's not going anywhere. So when we open the LCV, look at this. Now it's actually going somewhere, right? It's starting to enter the bleed system. And that's why the steps tell you to open it, the LCV. I forgot what the LCV means.
10th stage isolation valve.
And then we also need to open the isolation valve. Like if it was just me, I would be clueless. What the heck does isolation valve mean? But thanks to this diagram, that simply means you open like the connection between the left and right side. So the heat that's coming from the APU, when you open that transmits to both sides. So now, when you open your packs, that's these ACUs.
Packs.
So when you open the packs, both left and right, so the left one, start hearing. Yeah, it's a bit weak still. And then when you open the right one, now you're hearing the air conditioning really working. And that's how it works. So that's why you need to press those buttons so that the flow will be working. And this kind of thing is something I never understood before. The bleed system is something of a like, what? And this starts to make sense. It's freezing hell in this thing. I know, right? I know, yeah. But now it should get better. So if you look here now, yeah, it's starting to get better. 21 degrees now. Yeah, it's actually pretty fast. 21 degrees. Looks good. All right. Good. Now my frame rate suddenly tanked. I'm not sure why. Everything still looks good. Maybe something is loading in the background. I hope that's not long lasting. Anyway, let's see. All right. So packs are on.
Air conditioning panel.
Air conditioning panel. That's just the thing here.
Pressurization panel.
Pressurization panel. Yes, we need that. Let me load the flight in Navigraph so I can see the chart. There's a built-in chart here as well, but it will only be relevant when we already set the flight plan. And we haven't done that yet, so we'll have to wait for a bit. Airport elevation here in Bozeman, Montana is 4,473. 4473. Goodness, that's a bit high, huh? 4473, yeah, that's set because that's the last one I set there.
Bleed air panel.
Bleed air panel, yeah, we set that up
ground
correctly.
wing anti-ice panel switch.
Yeah,
Cal
that is
anti-ice
off.
switches.
Cal anti-ice, yes. Actually, yeah, while we're doing these things, we might as well set up already we might as well call the icing. What was it again? 136925. You have to call something, a frequency, to coordinate with the icing crew. So let's see that. Call them up.
Go ahead, cockpit.
So let's go and start de-icing. And you cannot de-ice if you start it later or earlier with the doors open. They won't allow you. They'll tell, Captain, the door's still open. And then de-icing with the door open probably is not a good idea. Alright, so let's de-ice only.
Roger.
Yeah. Good. There it is. Yeah, not very happy with the performance right now. I wonder if it's because I'm streaming as well, but it's suddenly tanked. There it is.
Ground to cockpit.
16925.
Starting de-icing using SAE Type 1 fluid on your wings and tail.
Okay, and this is the thing that you've probably seen before. Ground services, you can actually sit in the de-icer cab, and you can see this happening in front of you. Oh goodness, yeah, that is taking such a long load. There we go. Things loading in the background. I guess the external sounds are a bit laggy as well, or a bit low because of that setting that we put. It even leaves residue of this, whatever this de-icing fluid is. And it will go, it has like a random pattern, and it goes from the left wing to the tail to the right wing, and then it finishes. So while that's working, let's go and set
Anti-ice
this up.
panel.
Rip performance. The Challenger, hey, we went, oh, and then just like that, performance is back. So it just needs a like a smack to refresh things. Hello, explain. Alright, wing switch set to off. Okay, rest out. This is checking the windshield heat. Let's go and test that. So we put this in high for both, and then we put test. There we go, those are the messages. And then we test for when there's ice. Does anyone know what det means in this panel? The DET. I'm not sure what that means in test. Trying to figure out, but never understood it.
Wing overheat.
Okay.
Wing overheat.
Right, looks good. Tests are good.
Emergency lights.
Okay, do we turn this off again? I guess so. Emergency lights, let's arm that. There's a
Passenger
whole test
signs.
there. Seatbelt signs, turn that on.
ELT.
ELT is armed.
Glare shield panel.
Glare shield panel is just this one. It's good.
Crew and passenger
There.
oxygen.
Crew and passenger oxygen. In the cabin, we have 70-90 oxygen. That's pretty good. And in here, you can test it by pressing this button. If you hear air coming out, then that's good. Do that on the same side there. And this one is pretty cool. You can actually get the oxygen mask, guys. And this, I think this has been implemented in the TBM 900, the previous work from Hot Start. But this is just nice to see here. Look at this one. You can actually get the mask and put it on you. So when you're simulating those failures, you can actually put in the mask yourself, and you can hear yourself breathing, Darth Vader style. Yeah, put it back there. So cool. It's like flying the CRJ. Yes, very close, but a bit more fancy actually.
DCU warning panel.
DCU warning panel and CVR is on that
CVR.
side.
Audio
We'll skip
panels.
it. Audio panel is
SPS
good.
system.
Yeah.
Integrated standby clock. EFIS.
Yeah,
ICAF.
EFIS,
Main landing
ICAS.
gear bay. TOS warning
Let's go to
switches.
switch through this. This one is pretty nice, so let's test it. TOS system test. So you see all those fancy colors for terrain and the audio
Right
alerts
slope.
as well.
Pull up. Wind
The
shear.
icing truck
Wind
doing
shear.
its work.
Wind shear.
And yes,
Terrain.
when it
terrain.
comes to state
Pull up.
saving, it actually saves not only the state of the buttons, but the exact position of the aircraft. You have an option of loading at the same exact spot, facing the same exact way how you ended your previous flight. It's super
Pitch
cool.
and roll disconnects.
So you have more of a motivation to park properly and just not leave it anywhere. The pitch and roll disc,
Ground
that's there.
spoilers.
Ground spoilers are armed.
Thrust reversers.
Thrust reversers, let's go and arm them. Yeah, this is very familiar, right? Even the sequence of you turn on the right first
Ground to
before the left.
cockpit. De-icing is complete.
Same as the
Surfaces are
CRJ.
clean.
Thanks, bro.
Thrust levers.
Right, thrust
Engine speed
levers.
switches.
Engine speeds are
Engine
on.
vibration check.
Vibration
Oral
is
warning.
skip. Oral warning, yes, here we can test as well. Not that one, this guy. This will take a while because it will test literally all the audio alerts. So let's
Smoke
skip
detector.
that. There is something. Oh, there's a CRJ taxiing, guys. United. That's the noise we're hearing.
Trims, Mach trim.
Right, yeah, and it also has this one. Stab trim, Mac trim. Very CRJ-like, right?
Yaw dampers.
Yaw damper.
Reversionary inhibit switches. IRS.
Yeah, looks good. IRS is aligned.
CPDLC. TCAS.
Yeah. TCAS, yes, let's put that in. Well, we will test it first. And this actually works because I have AI. I have traffic global for AI. There was I had a flight.
System test okay.
I think 2 flights ago, I had an instance. I was too fast. There was an airliner in front of me. I was faster than it, so I was kind of overtaking it bit by bit, and I didn't notice until last minute until the TCAS alarmed, and I had to dive. So it told me descend, and so I had to dive to get away from the conflict. It told me that there's no more conflict, and then I can resume. So the TCAS system does work.
ATIS
cool.
and clearance.
Alright, 80s and clearance. Let's go and get that. I do want, ideally, I do want to see how that works. By the way, if you look at our fuel, you'll see that the left and right tanks are not balanced anymore. I was wondering about that for quite some time. Sure thing, Larger. Yes, catch you in the VOD. No worries, yeah. I just didn't want to rush it because there's so much to ensure. So thanks for being here. So, yes, it's not even. Why? I was wondering about it, and then when I looked at the study panel, I think it was it the fuel system? Yeah, I think so. So you see here, too bad there's no zoom. But yeah, the APU apparently gets its fuel. You see the APU fuel pump. It gets its fuel from the right tank. So right now we only have the APU open for quite some time now, right? 30 minutes now. So and it's been getting fuel from the right tank ever since. So that's why it explains why we have more fuel on the left tank now. And there is like a threshold in there of how much imbalance there could be, but there is a system for transferring that, which is this one. So left to aux. What it will do when we enable that, I should have shown the button. So fuel system transfer. What that did, this one, left aux transfer. You see 949 gallons per hour. So it's now transferring from the left main tank to the center aux tank, and then from the center aux tank, it will distribute that evenly to both sides. So you can transfer any excess in there. And then at some point, when the two tanks are a bit more balanced, I think when they are 100 pounds different from each other, you'll get a warning in here, an oral warning, so that you remember to turn off the pump. It's just amazing how these things work. Have a good one, Larger. Hey, Patrick, glad you made it. Thank you for joining. How are things? Alright, let me set up pilot to ATC. I hope it works today. It's a bit finicky. Just so we have a nice experience with the flight as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Okay, let's wait for it. ATIS is 135425. Okay, maybe let's put in the flight plan for now. So if we go to flight plan, secondary flight plan, when we load it from SimBrief, it will load only the secondary. And yes, there are both flight plans are implemented. So it loaded up from SimBrief. Looks good. Activate. And then we're departing from runway, what was it? 12? I think runway 12. Let's have a look at the weather in here. So let's put that in. If we go and get the data link weather, because ATIS doesn't work. I think ATIS only works in online, maybe if you're in VATSIM or Pilot Edge, but I'm not, so it doesn't. So we can get the weather from both airports. Kilo Bravo Foxtrot India. Get that. No, not that one. Send rather. There you go. We heard something. That might be the yeah, fuel cross flow shutoff valve open. So that means we're almost even now, and actually the left tank is less. That's telling us that yes, you're even now. So stop the transfer. Oh, and that tone is to signal that we got the weather for both airports. Received. Yeah, looks good. So here in Bozeman, 120. No, that's the time, the date and time. No winds actually. Okay. View 090 -3, -8. Okay, we'll need that later for plugging in. But for now, let me put in the route. Let's go back to the flight plan in here. Before I plug it in, I want to get our clearance. So I just plug it in once because clearance might assign us something different.
This is Amazon Polly, US
Okay.
English.
It's good. Pilot ATC voice is working.
Voice for the flight.
Let's plug out our thing here. Plugging in the flight plan. Okay, 380 today. We're cruising at 463 knots. Ground speed, more or less. Okay, runway 30 is what it wants for us. Is it really? I guess either way it works. Yeah, runway 30 is okay. Okay, runway 30. And then, let's see what it does. Should I show you? Maybe I should just show you, huh? Yeah, let me show you this one here. So I connected to X-Plane. This is what's cool about Pilot to ATC. It works with both MSFS and X-Plane. So the same product works for both. And then we wanted the... What is that? TEDx 4 arrival? Departure? Okay. To this VOR. How does that look from Navigraph point of view? Should have done this a while ago in the flight planning stage. So let's put that there. This is the RNAV departure that we'll be following. How do we read that? Doesn't really say, does it? T-Rex. Oh, T-Rex. Yeah, okay. T-Rex 4 probably. To Whitehall. Okay, so runway 30. 303 heading, turn left 231, and then Rancer above 8,000, after above 8,000, T-Rex, and then Whitehall. Pretty straightforward. Should be no problem. We should have a climb gradient of, let's see, there's something in here I think supposedly, if I read through it. 315 per nautical mile, this one. Climb gradient. I think we can verify that in the takeoff, should be no problem, but just to be on the safe side. Okay, and then on our arrival we'll be joining the Glasser 1 arrival over here, which would be, our transition would be Mulan Pass, was it? Yeah, Mulan Pass from here, yeah, all the way to the airport, and then from there, based on the weather, runway 14 right looks good, and runway 14 right we have a couple of approaches available. Let's go ahead and check which approach we will be following. 14 right is right, so we have the ILS approach, we have a GPS approach. This is only LNAV. Does that have VNAV? I don't think it even has VNAV. We have an RNP approach, required navigational precision. So it's basically like GPS but more accurate. It requires you to have a certain amount of GPS accuracy. So if your avionics can handle it, this is way better. So it should have lower minimums, 542 versus 680 on the normal GPS approach. So we could go with either this one, which is a 542 minimums, or an ILS, which is oh, this is much better. Yeah, let's go for an ILS approach. Normally if there's LPV I would have taken that, but I think in this case this looks good. Alright, so that looks good, and then this is the arrival airport. We'll worry about that later. Okay, looking good there. But in terms of connecting the arrival and the approach, hey, thanks for following. Happy Pappy, thanks for joining. So the end of this arrival, let's see. Landing north, landing south. I always got confused with this term. Landing north, landing south. I guess we're landing north. But anyway, I think it goes all the way the same here. Okay, and then from here, if we look at the ILS approach, we could probably use Isoge as the initial approach fix. I don't think we need a procedure turn because we'll be coming from the north. So we'll be turning left to Isoge. So yeah, I think we can use Isoge as the initial approach fix in this case. We're getting your Challenger on Friday. Nice. Yeah, you won't regret it, man. I set up X-Plane from scratch just for this plane and I have not regretted it since. It was worth the effort. Alright, so let's get the arrival. Oh, you guys know each other? Oh, cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Glasser 1. Runway... Is it 14 right? Yes, 14 right. Oh, I didn't notice this. Apparently, there's a 14 right and 14 left. 14 left looks like a mini runway right there. Only for the smaller planes. Okay, so Glasser 1 with the Mulan Pass transition. I hope the pilot ECTC does change it for me. There we go. And then the approach would be ILS 14 right, yes, with the Isoge. Oh, actually there's a seat. No, Isoge is, I think, easier. Vectors to Isoge. Makes sense. Good. So that looks good. It's validated. Let's file it. We'll see if it changes anything. And then we'll follow its instructions. Okay, that looks good. Alright, perfect. We move this here on this side. And we can go ahead and request clearance. Well, we'll have to tune in first to the correct frequency. In our case, that is ground frequency would be 121.8, 21.8. Okay. Request clearance. I'll get ready to take note of it.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima ready to copy IFR clearance.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima is cleared to Kilo Bravo Foxtrot India. Fly the TRX-4 departure with a higher transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 30. Climb to 16,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 7 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.907. Squawk 5646.
Good.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima is cleared to Kilo Bravo Foxtrot India. Fly the TRX-4 departure with the higher transition that is filed. Climb to 16,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 7 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.907. Squawk 5646.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima read back correct. Altimeter 3023, let us know when you're ready to taxi.
Altimeter 3023, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Does that align with the weather we got? 3023? Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. Set that up here again. 3023. There you go. 3023 there on the standby as well. I really love these pop-ups. Just so much more convenient even when showing you guys. And I'll get back to chat in a bit. I see it moving a bit there. Craft method. I don't even know what it's called. I just got used to watching YouTube videos. Thanks. Alright, so we've been told to expect runway 30. Runway 30 has a heading of 303 degrees. Okay. Looks good. 303. So let's go and put that. I even love the knobs, right? Just the simple things. 303 would be right here. 303 degrees. Yeah, that's the runway 30. And let's continue with plugging in the flight plan. Looking good. Departure would be runway 30 on the TRX-4. departure to this VOR, execute, and then flight plan, let's double check that it's accurate. Is it? Yeah, and then the glasser immediately, so it's pretty close actually. Arrival would be runway ILS 14 right, vectors, yes, and then glasser 1 arrival on the Mulan Pass transition. Looks good. We go to the legs page, double check, T-Rex, and then we have a discontinuity and overlap there, just overwrite that, looks good. And then we get vectors to the ILS, so there is a discontinuity that's expected. Looks good, okay, perfect. Alright, what is the checklist saying, telling us? We have the 80s and the clearance, yeah, 3023. Clearance, route, altitude, frequency, transponder. Ah, there you go, thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
FMS flight
you guys
plan,
know your stuff.
wind update, perf.
Oh, this is cool. So FMS flight plan we did already. Wind update, right? Wind update is pretty cool. So let's go for route menu, flight plan, wind update. So now that we have our flight plan executed, we just press send here. And what this basically does, let's observe it later, is we go to the legs page, you go to the leg wind, everything is blank, right? And for the plane to get more accurate measurements on the estimated fuel on arrival and whatnot, it needs proper wind information in here. So that's what we're requesting. It takes a while, but the plane gets that online. And so regardless of which weather you're at, I think it gets it from real weather. It depends what's enabled for you. And it feeds that here. So we'll wait for that to finish and then we'll compare how it looks after. So it says flight plan. Oh, there it is already. That was quick. So now we get it and now we can execute. So it fills those out for us automatically. It is amazing. Okay, flight plan, wind update, and performance. Okay, let's go for performance here. Perf in it. We'll be cruising today at flight level 380. We have 7 passengers on board, and let's just sense the fuel. So I'll just delete that. Sense fuel, there you go. So it'll be a 34,930 takeoff weight. A bit higher than what Simbrief gave, which is 34.7. Hey, Luis Daniel, thank you for the raid, guys. Welcome. We're flying something completely different today, but hopefully you guys enjoy. Welcome. You have to hard code all that from the flight plan. Q400 FMC. Ah, I see. Nice. Raid. Indeed. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate that. Welcome, guys. Alright, let's execute. Next page. This one, I'm not sure if I really need to fill out. But what I do just is put the average winds, maybe. 206 at 80 knots. And maybe leave the rest in there. And then it calculates based on that. We should have 3,200 pounds left when we arrive. We'll be there in 1 hour and a half. Looks good. Let's go and take the VNAV setup. Now this is what I mentioned based on the Simbrief profile. I'm going to follow it. So I'm going to put 300 knots here and a 0.78 Mach for the climb. And then for the cruise, I believe it was a 300, it was a Mach 0.82. And then for the descent, it's going to be Mach 0.78 and 300 knots as well. If anyone needs a primer on what these all mean, let me know, and I can go into more detail on them. Looks good. Let's go back to perf init. Let's go for takeoff. And then let's plug in the winds. I think the winds were clear. The winds were calm. Yeah, 0 at 0. Outside air temperature, the static air temperature is 0 as well. Oh, everything is 0. My goodness. Okay, it's pretty cold. Pressure altitude is 4194, so we have no headwind, no crosswind. Runway slope, there is a bit of slope there. It's a dry runway. So those are V speeds considering our everything that we plugged in. 118, 121, 130, and final takeoff speed is 154. That's, I think, when we put up our flaps after we've crossed that. Cookies, yeah. Cookies and coffee, I think. That's true. That's very true. Okay, the passengers must be ticked off by now. They've been waiting ages. Okay, we still have balanced fuel here. That looks good. Right.
Takeoff data.
Takeoff data.
Avionics and charts.
Avionics and charts. Yes,
Flight
that's good.
instruments.
Flight instruments. I like this. I like reading these things because it teaches me the right flow of things. So it tells you to start in the middle, and once you look here in the middle, you see something wrong. Oh, wait a minute, I don't have flight directors on. So you turn it on, right? Oh, wait a minute, I'm not yet in takeoff mode. So you press the toga button on the throttle. Okay, that looks good now. So you start your flow here. Looks good. I am on the FMS nav data, because if you like do an ILS approach, then you'll be on lock 1 or VOR 1. And then on your next flight, you'll start in VOR 1. So you'll need to remember to switch back. So FMS 1 looks good. I have my V speeds calculated and sent to the PFD. That looks good. 120, that's wrong. So we have to put this at 200 knots. But yeah, I really like this flow. So I learned this here. It is so good to have these things. 200 knots. Takeoff mode. Takeoff. Right, looks good. 16,000 is set. That's our initial altitude that we've been cleared. 33023 is the correct altimeter setting, and then finally the thrust limit is 89.9. Takeoff for the auto thrust system, something like that. Okay, looks good.
Departure briefing.
Departure briefing. We take off, and then we wing it.
Emergency procedures.
Emergency procedure. We yell and we scream until black screen.
Pins, covers, chocks.
What is a KITT? Systems for the lab and potable water, including the associated GC, is coming. Oh, wow. We'll be looking forward to that, Papi. Yeah, nice. I know, right? So cool, Daniel. So cool. And it's not just the plane itself, it's the entire experience, the business jet pilot. It's amazing. Look at this one. This is cool. So, pins, covers, and chocks. We remove the pins and the covers already. The pin, I think, is the nose wheel pin, maybe. The covers are the pitot tube covers that we removed a while ago. But the chocks, we still have a chock in front, right? And when we remove that, we can actually signal to the ground crew below. Chocks out. Wait for him to remove it. Let's get track IR here for more immersion. Beautiful skies. That's the one I bought. Essential skyscapes for 3D clouds. We get the thumbs up, so chocks are out.
Cabin lights, water heaters, master seat.
Yeah,
Flight
looks
compartment checklist complete. Engine start checklist.
Nice.
Doors.
Doors are
Parking
closed.
brake and pressure.
Parking brake is good.
Fuel quantity and balance.
Fuel quantity is balanced.
Beacon.
Let's turn that on.
Ignition.
I skipped through them. Fuel boost pumps. Turn them on. Ignition. Let's start ignition right here.
Armed. Engine 2 start.
Night Rider Trans Am. Okay. So before we start the engine, there's actually one more step. You can have a hand signal. If you watch YouTube real life pilots like Citation Max, Premier One Driver, they always do this. And this is so cool to finally be able to do it in the sim. Like engine 2, start. Right? Oh, this is so cool. There's even like if you have the APU, you have like the disconnect APU. So you can do hand signals, ground crew checks that everything is clear. Alright, so now let's go ahead and start. That looks good. N2 is climbing. At 20% we can start introducing fuel by pushing the throttle there. And for the left engine, I'll show you the behind the scenes, how the study diagrams look like. Where is this noisy guy coming from? Oh, there's a Delta. What is that, guys? A320? Or a 7? No, let's have a look.
Fuel system.
Okay, good. We have engine 2. Turn off the fuel pump. We want to test something. There should be a left low fuel pressure or something. Because the left after a while. Let's wait for it. There we go. Left fuel low pressure. Looks good. Turn it back on.
Engine 1 start.
Engine 1 start. Okay, let's go for it. Let's go and check it out. Do we want the bleed system? The bleed system was this one. When you start the the starter for any engine, it closes the packs automatically. But I remember some operators actually turning off the packs manually for safety. So if you look at this one, those valves open, right? The bleed, but the ECU valve, the packs, they turn off automatically. And then you can start seeing the actual engine in here. Exhaust spinning. You have 28%, let's introduce fuel. And you see the igniters, right? In there. And you see all the temperatures, all the N2 is here, 40%, it's climbing, it's starting to spin N1 as well. And all the different
Engine
stuff.
start checklist complete. After
And
start
you have
checklist,
the
next.
show oil system in there to see what's happening on the oil level of things. But yeah, this is where I spend my time during cruise. If I have a long flight, spend my time studying how those look. Yeah, puts a whole new level to when you say study level. So now it's complaining, you have your engines on, but you have generator still off. You don't make sense.
After start checklist.
Okay.
Generator 1 and 2.
Start generators.
On, checked AC and DC. Ignition.
Ignition. Can close that.
Disarmed. Packs. On. 14th stage.
Now we start the 14th stage lead. These two.
Cowl anti-ice.
You do this on the Q400 to start on the GPU at the gate. You rarely start on the APU because they're so unreliable. Ah, yes. I think it really depends on the plane. Prove the hand signals. It depends on the plane. Some planes are built to have the GPU start. Some planes, they're more common to have the APU because sometimes the cost to rent a GPU and the cost of the fuel when you're running the APU, sometimes it's more even economical to start with just the APU already. So it depends also on that aspect. There are other factors, which is quite interesting actually. Hey, thank you for the follow. How do you pronounce your name? Erhan, thank you for joining. Boeing and Airbus, we always turn off the packs for the engine start. Ah, right, there you go. Drop props, there's no need because it's electric start and other systems don't come on until the props are unfiltered. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think for safety, turning off the packs is a good practice. Don't rely on the automation. Good. Alright, let's go with this one. Do we need to go? Yeah. Sometimes we want to skip through stuff, but sometimes you pay for it if you don't do it properly. So let's
check 45 seconds.
do this properly then. Start the timer. And while that's working, let's go and check the flight controls. Elevators are working. Ailerons are working. It's quite interesting as well. When you move the aileron, there's a bit of rudder that includes there. I thought initially that was a malfunction, but that's how the plane is designed apparently. Yeah, looks good.
Ground spoilers.
Ground spoilers. Let's see here if we disarm it. Okay, and if we arm it, goes up. Makes sense.
Flight spoilers.
Flight spoilers, if we pull this one. Okay, that's full, and then if it's half there as well. Good.
Cowl anti-ice.
Cowl anti-ice should have appeared by now. Yeah, we do see the cowl anti-ice at 45
Supplemental
seconds.
ground wing anti-ice.
Yeah, we start that supplemental test.
On. Fuel balance.
Fuel balance is good.
Trims.
Trims are not so good. Let's go and set that around 5.8. Should be good enough. Aileron rudder trim at the center.
No steer.
Perfect. No steering. We can go and arm that now.
APR.
APR test. I will skip that, but APR I think is used for when you have an engine failure or when one of your engines is not performing properly during takeoff. So it kind of compensates the other one. Something like that.
ADG unit.
ADG is, I think, the equivalent of the ram air turbine.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice.
Okay, we'll wait for that around the 2-minute mark. That should get a green in there. Your GPUs are connected to the grid. You don't use gas powered GPUs except as a backup. Ah, cool. Might tell you what the trim is if you enter takeoff CG map from weight and balance. Yeah, that's something I don't know how to do. Like this one probably, right? I have no idea how that works, and I've checked others. I think they ask the same, but the general guideline is just put it around 5.8, something like that. But yeah, I do want a more scientific method in there, although I think for this business jet it's not that scientific. At least the implementation of it. Right, stop that.
Cowl anti-ice.
We can also turn off the cowl anti-ice again.
Off. Wing anti-ice.
Oh my goodness.
14
skip
stage
that.
isolation valve.
When I say skip that, now I'm really scared because sometimes it is
Wing
important.
anti-ice.
Okay.
ATS.
N1
N1
takeoff.
TO. ATC TCAS.
ATC TCAS.
TARA. After start checklist complete.
Good.
Taxi checklist next.
Alright, taxi checklist.
Taxi checklist. Taxi lights. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Okay. No need for now. Now we should have charts now because we have the flight plan. So if I press charts, it's still in night mode because I was flying at night last night. So let's change that here. If you go here at the bottom, there should be a day and night option. There it is. Nice. Looking good. Alright, so runway 30, we expect maybe alpha, just an alpha, right? Turn right on alpha, alpha 1, runway 30. Okay, let's go and request taxi from pilot to ATC. Will they see the same thing? We will see.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima ready to taxi.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima taxi to runway 30 via taxiways Echo, Alpha, hold short runway 21, and runway 30.
Okay,
Brakes and steering.
that's good.
Taxi to runway 30 via taxiways Echo Alpha, hold short runway 21 and runway 30 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Yeah, we need to hold short there because that's a runway apparently. Very small runway, but still a runway. Release the parking brake if I can see it. I think that looks good. Alright, we're starting to move. Finally guys, after 1.5 hours. Sorry, I was enjoying myself too much. Okay, let's remove the flight controls there. Alright, so how does it look? Okay, looks like our direction at least is okay. In terms of our takeoff from runway 30, we are on the same path towards where we want to go, so not much turning in there. But we should be given more instructions by ATC. And we do have the departure rather, so that should be okay. Just follow the departure. So we can actually arm LNAV now, so we have takeoff, but we can also arm nav mode, so it can capture the FMS waypoints after we take off automatically. Streaming this under X-Plane. Thanks, Bigsvin. I got a lot of pushback from a lot of people. I know not a lot of people like X-Plane these days. Many of us switched to MSFS, but I don't want to discriminate between platforms just for the sake of discriminating the platform. If a plane is good, I will fly it if I can. And this plane definitely is really up there. The most immersive plane I've ever flown. So thanks for that, appreciate it. Hey Jay, glad you made it to the stream. How are things going on your end? So there's the runway, we'll hold short there. And we'll wait for ATC to clear us to cross. Also, we do have some assistance from the co-pilot. They are taking care of some of the things.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima cleared to cross runway 03.
Nice.
Cleared to cross runway 03 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
So here this one. As we cross this this runway, I'll wait for it. There you go. You see? Our co-pilot turned on the anti-collision lights, which is I think equivalent to the strobes here in this plane. And then once we clear the runway, he'll turn off the anti-collision lights. Yeah, that switch. So there is a co-pilot. You can turn it off. It's a bit buggy right now if you turn it off with the checklist and everything. But I think they're working on that. But then at this point, I'm not really comfortable turning it off yet because there are so many steps you need to do immediately after takeoff. Okay. Awesome, Jay. Thanks for the resub, man. 42 months. Goodness. Oh, nice new badge there. Fancy. Alright, let's have a look. Brakes and steering.
Reverse thrust.
Good. Reverse thrust.
If
We can also
taxing the
check reverse
DIs,
thrust.
pause checklist here until paper DIs
So
checklist
we
is
can
complete.
enable the reverser here. There it is. It will show fail there.
Challenger
That's
1
okay.
Charlie Lima, contact tower on 118.2. Enjoy your
Okay.
morning.
Back to N1 takeoff. Let's go reply
Tower
to
on
ATC, please. Thank you.
118.2 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
And then let's get ready the departure frequency 1897 so we can switch easier later. I'll be enabling the autopilot immediately, almost immediately after takeoff, guys, because the workload will be a bit intense. Right, let's go and request for takeoff.
Tower Challenger 1 Charlie Lima ready for departure runway 30.
Flaps.
Challenger 1 Charlie
20.
Lima winds are
Altimeters.
cleared for takeoff. Runway
Satin cross
30.
check. Radar weather.
Cleared for
On.
takeoff runway
Takeoff
30.
briefing.
Challenger 1 Charlie
Taxi
Lima.
checklist complete.
Nice.
Before takeoff checklist next.
Good.
Before takeoff checklist. Passenger signs. Advised on. Anti-collision light. On. Probes.
So now he'll
On.
turn on the probe so
Windshield
when it meets.
On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Where's that guy coming from?
Continuous ignition. On. ATC TCAS. TARA. Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel.
Someone on
Check.
final?
CAS. Takeoff config OK.
Maybe.
Landing
config is
pulse
okay.
recog lights. On. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Don't see
After
anyone though.
takeoff checklist next.
I mean, these clouds, they don't look half bad, do they? Kind of like it actually. It's very natural. Nothing cinematic, but actually looks quite natural. And yes, the drawing in there, I hated it. It looks like a drawing, a scribble more than anything. But apparently that's how the real plane looks like. That's how the real plane models their draws the runway there. ATS is active. There you go. N1. Airspeed's alive. Let's try and keep center line here. I believe 123 is our rotation speed. It's coming up. V1. Rotate. Good. Positive rate. Gear up. Final takeoff speed. Flaps up. LNAV is armed. We're in pitch. It's now targeting for 200 knots. I'll turn on autopilot so we can focus on moving to departure frequency in a bit, and we'll go through the after takeoff checks.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. 0. Thrust reversers.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, contact Big Sky
Ignition.
departure on 118.907. Have a good
Pressurization.
morning.
Checked. Pax
Departure
transition.
on 118.907 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Look at how much he's doing. This plane is a bit different. It actually takes off with APU on.
Completed. N1.
So he's
Climb set.
changing all the bleed
APU
settings and
generator.
then turning off the APU.
Off. APU. Shutdown.
Challenger
Passenger
1 Charlie
signs.
Lima climbing to 16,000 feet.
And this is one thing that I missed here in X-Plane. It's nice to see this again. Oh, let's move to 250 knots first. I'll do that.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact.
This one. The flyby setting. It's so cool. I really wish we have that in MSFS too. 10,000 feet. Off there. Passenger signs as well are pretty stable now. Without the auto.
CAS.
Gas, we have only APR arm, which is good. That will, I think, disappear after 5 minutes.
After takeoff, checklist complete.
Alright, and now that we are past 10,000, what we can do is go to performance twice, and then we can hit VNAV, right? And then we can go ahead and resume 300 knots. Okay, that's good. Go to flight level change. So now that changed to magenta because it's now FMS managed, and now we are in VNAV with flight level change to 300 knots. So it's going to take care of our climb now. So we should be at above 8,000 at Rancer. That's no problem. We're already at 14,000 and climbing. It's pretty good. Right? Beautiful mountains here in Montana. I think we're pretty close to Yellowstone. Oh, goodness. Hey, thank you for following. 1 second, my screen is covering it a bit.
Challenger
Chronic.
1 Charlie
Chronic, thank you for
climb
following.
and maintain flight level 240.
AJ Prince, thanks for joining.
Climb and maintain flight level 240, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
It gets too noisy, and if you really want the sound of the headset, what I really like about this plane is it also has that headset thing. And based on real pilots, and you guys can comment on this, I think we have some real pilots here, this does sound exactly like how a headset would sound like if you put it on. But I like hearing the disadvantage here is when you fickle with the knobs, they don't have that clicking sound anymore. So I prefer keeping it off if possible. And then we can just lower the external volume if we need to. 18,000 feet. Let's move to standard
Challenger 1 Charlie
altimeter.
Lima climb and maintain flight level 320. Contact Salt Lake City Center on 132.4. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 132.4. Take care, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Second. 132.4. Sorry, the workload is a bit much, so I'm a bit lagging, guys.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima climbing to flight level 320.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact.
Beautiful. So this is actually free. The orthos I'm using are from Workboy, I think. It takes a ton of work. Thankfully, I didn't delete them from when I was setting X-Plane years back. So I still have them in my hard drive and I'm using them until now. Starting our turn here. But yes, these are free. You basically have to download them via torrent. So it's like a peer shared file, and then you have to process them on your own manually, and that takes hours or even a day, full day to unpack and process, something like that. It's getting a bit loud, isn't it? One thing that I like as well are the plugins here. We can lower the exterior volume, for example. Right? Or we can lower the master volume as a whole using plugins. It's just so easy to tweak. Alright, now we can go outside. If my controller is on, that is. There we go. Let's get goods up. Come on, we can do it. I think I'm running out of VRAM, so it's trying to load in and out. But yeah, that doesn't look half bad, right? We keep on saying that X-Plane is ugly. Well, some people will say it, but if you set it up right, it doesn't look half bad. Yeah, and it really shows the maturity of the platform. Because there are a lot of things that have been improved throughout the years. User feedback and whatnot for user experience, custom controller profiles and whatnot. Simple things, complex things, things that I hope will be implemented in MSFS eventually. But yeah, it's these things that really add to the overall immersion of the plane. Exactly, yeah, exactly, Jay. It's just that it takes a bit of a time and not everyone has it, so not everyone likes that idea. And look at that view. Beautiful. Sequence shot like this. Alright, how does it look? Flight level 275. And then we are at 300 knots here. When it hits Mach 0.78, that will switch automatically to Mach speed because we have the VNav managed speeds there. Hey, Chronic. And over here, what I also like is it has all of the implementations. If you have 3 FMSs, you actually have 3 FMSs. There is no like, it's a copy of the other, right? If you have these 2 screens, these are completely separate from each other. You can have one without synthetic vision for better performance. You can have one with, and then you have different. I think it has I don't know how many, 2 or 3 autopilot systems. So when one breaks, you can transfer it to the other. And yes, all those failures are programmed in as well. But I've not been brave enough to try any of them yet. Paid add-ons, not necessarily. So if you look at the mods list, maybe I can show it. I did update my mods list, so you can use that as reference. There are some paid mods in there, that's true. I'll show you. One second. Okay, so those are all the plugins that I have enabled at the moment. And it's actually, this is quite small, right? This range. So we have Pilot to ATC. That's the ATC software we're using. XATC chatter, that background you're hearing. Fly with Lua is essential.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima climb and maintain flight level 380.
Because that enables other free plugins.
Climb and maintain flight level 380 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
And now we actually switched to Mach 0.78. Although from what I heard, this is not legal to fly in VNav mode in Mach speed. I'm not sure why. So we'll just move to back to I don't know what you call it, non-magenta color, just to be on the safe side. Alright. But yes, Fly with Lua is free, Better Pushback is free, Volume Control is free, Active Sky is paid, X Camera is paid, XP Realistic, I'm not using it for this plane at the moment, that's paid, this is paid, AVTab is free, Traffic Global is paid. Yeah, there are lots of paid mods. Although the orthophotos themselves, this is fully free. It just takes a long time to set up US orthophotos. If you want less of a hassle, you can pay for I think like Orbix sceneries. That will be easier, just one click, but you have to pay for it. And then the planes I'm using are both from Hotstart. They're both paid. But yes, exclamation point mods get you this list, and I'll be constantly updating it as well, because I also use it for my own reference. Hey Kelly, it's been a while. How are you? Thanks for joining. It's been a while. Yes, indeed. Hope you're doing well. You gave up too many. Yeah, I know, right? Yes. So just to show you, that's why I try and maintain it as much as possible. Otherwise, it will get away from me. Like for MSFS, these are the plugins I have. For ATS, it's these ones. Right? For ETS, it's this one. So I try to hide the outdated mods, and I try to update it whenever I update something. So it's not a one-time maintenance, it's a continuous thing. And that way I can make it manageable. Poor thing, we spent. But yeah, this plane really got me back into X-Plane, and I haven't flown anything since. I am quite missing the graphics from MSFS. But the feeling of being a business jet pilot, I've never felt it I've never felt so immersed versus this one. Okay, looking good. Reaching 380 soon. What are we doing? 1,100 feet per minute. Yeah, I think the normally programmed VNav profile is at Mach 0.72. That means it has a steeper climb. It climbs faster than this one, but I'm not sure. I'm just using what Simbrief mentioned. So I'm imagining this is the optimal speed, maybe. I don't know. And yes, even the GPS satellites, the IRS positioning, they're all simulated. So I've heard reports that when people do approaches in mountainous areas where GPS reception is poor, they actually the GPS becomes inaccurate. Like I think this is this one, the 2.0. When you have bad coverage, that will change. And I think we can verify that in the FMS, and I think you can also verify that here. So the GPS, satellite position tracker. So it's based on the actual, how do you say, trajectory of all the satellites in the world. They have that plugged in, or they get that online probably. 1,000 to go. Check. And then based on the current date, you have those satellites, and then based on those satellites, they link up to show an image if you are accurate, if you have accurate GPS positioning or not. And then there's also the IRS, I believe. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. Shows you how the accelerometer is working, way beyond my pay grade. I don't understand any of this. But all of these are really happening in the background. Nothing is faked. Everything is simulated. And what I love about this concept is when the interview with the developers, the main developer Toto, he was highlighting that there was a problem before when thinking of how to develop a plane, that you have to plug in all the possible scenarios of what can happen to a plane and how the plane will behave based on that. Right now here, so let's go to Mach 0.82, I believe that is, we saw from debrief. We're now on cruise, and let's change to performance. Max thrust would be cruise setting, just a little bit below. Shouldn't need to reach that, but fine. Right, looking good there. Now, okay, we're still trying to speed up. Okay, that's fine. What was I saying? Yeah, so the concept for this plane apparently is, instead of having to model all the possible scenarios and what the plane should do in those scenarios, they try to make it as realistic as possible. So instead of modeling the if then statements, right, in a basic sense, what they did is they tried to model the plane and the parts and the circuits and everything with how the real plane has it, so that whatever happens based on the real laws of physics that's implemented, it would do the same thing as the real plane does. So they don't have to manually go through each scenario, they just have to model the plane with the real thing. Just model the plane with the real thing. And so that's what they did. So they programmed each and every circuit breaker, each and every wiring. And yeah, I think if you look at the electrical network, something like that, right? All the circuit breakers, all the things that are beyond me, I cannot understand that, but those are all there. And so you have the real study level plane, so you can really study what's happening behind the scenes. I didn't even know this, like there is this what do you call this, bypass jet in a core jet, like the air that comes through the engine. Apparently in normal scenarios for this plane, the bypass jet, this blue part here, actually produces most of the thrust. I would have thought this red area is where most of the thrust is coming from. Yeah, apparently it's this bypass jet, and you learn all of that by hovering through here and reading through all these details. So during the, on cruise, right, most common complaint is during cruise you don't do anything. Well, now you can do something. You have plenty to do, plenty to study. Sorry to hear that, Kelly. Yeah, I think I remember. Hope you feel better soon. GPS satellites like this. Motorola. Ah, cool. I see. Forward compatibility. 1 second. Yes, XP11. We are off to Washington, just north of Seattle. That is the Boeing International. Yes, so the developers have confirmed we will get a free update of this plane to X-Plane 12. So this will be fully compatible with X-Plane 12. That's one of the reasons I did not hesitate to buy it. Good. Okay, let's have a look. I like the clouds outside, just enough to keep it interesting. And there is something I wanted to show. Where was that? I tried looking for it at one point. Oh, I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. Yeah, like, how do you know which, like, how does the plane know where it is? It kind of cross-checks against different sources, right? GPS, IRS, VORs. And here you can actually do that. 1 second, where is that? If I can find it. I think it's in the FMC1 position. Yeah, this one. So you can see we are accurate to a 0.01 nautical mile, I think. That's what that means in total. Because we have so many different sources. We have IRS, 3 IRSs, gazillions of GPS. We have even VOR connections. So it DME to DME. So that connects to all the things we're flying through. And based on all those points of reference, it knows exactly where we are down to the 0.01 nautical mile. At least that's how I understand this. Yeah, and in the DME to DME, VOR DME candidates, it's a bit too much sometimes, but it's there. And if you can, and they can, yes, you can study this. Yeah, so what's DME to DME? DME, this one, yeah, read it. So many things you can do. Super cool. Thank you for following. I missed that. Ray J Gamer, thanks for joining. Jack's engine informs him. Yeah, he doesn't need it anymore. True. He can start his own engine. He's a big boy. Good. Alright. Let's go and look at our flight here. After takeoff, yeah, that looks good. I think the next one is descent already, so we don't need that anymore for now. We can switch to memory 2 to get the summary there. And here we can see we'll be arriving in an hour. Okay, that should be perfect for the stream, I think. And then we'll be arriving with 2,760 pounds of fuel, and our gross weight will be 31.6. We'll be using that for landing calculations. 23.4. 33.4.
Center on 133.4 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Well, we also have traffic. We have traffic to our right. Let me report in first, 1 second.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima at flight level 380.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact.
Oh, the traffic is not enabled here. 1 second, it's too small. We're on the panel traffic. Is there that on? Oh, that's the PFD. Yeah, it's PFD. This one, I think. The MFD on the right side. Traffic. There you go. And then terrain. Unfortunately, I don't think it has a weather radar, because they said that the weather system in X-Plane is too unreliable. It's not really recommended to, doesn't make sense to put in a weather radar. So hopefully with X-Plane 12 we get it. We have an aircraft at flight level 397. Interesting. We can see that here. Maybe not, maybe they're too far. Yeah, oh, that looks cool. Yeah, we definitely have ortho photos in here. Alex and Jack, I think they're recovering. Yeah, hopefully they get better soon. How stable is X-Plane? I think as stable as any simulator could be. It does lag a bit from time to time. It requires a lot of resources. But so far it's been stable for the most part. If you start doing funky stuff like loading saved states, loading flights from the middle of the flight plan, that gets a bit wonky. I think I've had a CTD once because this plane, it has state saving, right? and it has some autosave features. And one of the autosave features is when you're 1,000 feet above ground, I think, from your arrival airport, it saves that, so that if you, in case you mess up your landing, you can repeat it. So you can load that state and try again. And I messed up my landing bad, and I wanted to repeat it. And when I did that the first time, it crashed. When I tried it the second time, it was good. Is there traffic below? I see contrails. There is. There is. Alaska Airlines. Can you see him? Yes, there he is. Bit small, but there he is. You guys see him? Oh, there he is. Pretty cool. Traffic actually works. Never had a CTD in DCS. And in MSFS only with one mod and one add-on. Oh my goodness, MSFS I've had so many CTDs. Well, actually in Explain as well, I've had so many CTDs. I guess I'm just not the plugins I try, they're just not very compatible with each other. Okay, 1 second. Let's go outside. There it is. Let's try to grab a few more photos. I love the transition of the landscaping here. I mean, that doesn't look half bad, right? Thanks to satellite images and the 3D clouds. Looking good. Looking quite good here. Beautiful. Whew. Yeah, it looks great. Doesn't look like the reflections, definitely the lighting. MSFS is definitely better, but in some aspects, the natural colors quite easy on the eyes, right? And it's not cinematic, like it's not excessive. It's very pleasant on the eyes. Quite nice here. Cool. Wonder what city that is. Oh, right. That looks pretty complex. Wow. Only thing is there's no snow. You can get snow with X-Enviro, I think. But not really a huge fan of X-Enviro. I kind of like this combination of active sky and enhanced skyscapes. Active sky for the actual weather, enhanced skyscapes for the rendering of the clouds. So many thumbnail goodies. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get back here in the cockpit. I think we have some things to study. Get ready, double check. Alright. Now we don't have any constraints here, looks like. Let's go ahead and open this up. Legs page. And this is what I like, because you have 3 CDUs. You can leave one for the radio, you can leave one for the legs page, and you can have one for the weather. And you can pop them all out, and you don't have to trade, like, you have triple screens in some sense, right? Pretty cool. Right, and yes, we can compare the charts here. 1 second. Chart would be this one. So if we put here upper menu and then we scroll to the arrival destination, and then from there we can scroll to the next charts easily, all within the destination. So it's easy to traverse
Challenger
them.
1 Charlie Lima, expect the Glasser 1 arrival with the MLP transition for the ILS approach to runway 14 right at Bowen King County International.
Okay, that's good. That's what we were expecting. It's good.
Expect the Glasser 1 arrival with the MLP transition for the ILS approach to runway 14 right Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Now in terms of top of descent isn't really shown here. I think that 45 minutes is when we arrived at Jackson. But to get top of descent, what we can do is go to MFD data. In here we have a top of descent. That's actually 223 miles from now. That's 22 minutes away. Yeah, MFD data should be good. Alright. There is an aircraft ahead of us. Yeah, looks pretty close actually. Are we at risk of hitting each other? I sure hope not, but the TCAS will take care of it in any case. I don't see them though. Don't really see them. Okay. Let's leave it there. Plenty of stuff to do. Let's go and align the heading first. Keep it clean. How far away from the destination? 1 hour. Okay, that's okay. I think that's perfect. That looks good. I think in terms of time acceleration, if you really need it, it is compatible. But X-Plane, it has two kinds of time acceleration, like sim rate if you're talking MSFS. One is the actual simulation rate is being sped up. That's very slow because all the calculations are being doubled, so that puts a large toll on the system. I think that's the only compatible acceleration for this plane. Because the other one, the more optimized one, is a ground speed acceleration. So the sim rate, the winds and everything is still the same, but just your ground speed is accelerating. And I think if you use that, you use IRS position, it doesn't blend well with the plane. Hey Skyer, how are you doing, man? Thanks for joining. Did you get to use that GC yet? That Steam card? Thanks and congrats on the win again, on the giveaway. Alright, looks good. Shall we maybe get a... Yeah, let's stretch our legs a bit. Let's enjoy. Let's sit with let our co-pilot take care of stuff there. Let's appreciate the views here a bit. Wing view. In there. Not too shabby. And yeah, they mentioned that they purposely allowed you to go through a window because they know people will be setting up cameras like this. So they didn't restrict you to be only inside. Right, and this is what I was mentioning. Look at this one. Let's go and sit down here. And look at how realistic that is when you're flying one of those passenger planes, right? It even has, I think they mentioned around 40,000 cities in the database. So that when it's zooming out like this, it has those cities noted here. So you know exactly where you are. So we're coming from Bozeman, Yellowstone International to Field King County, Boeing Field King County International. Even the names I think are realistic. They're the proper names used. Altitude, speed, outside temperature, anything that zooms in and out at some point. So it looks pretty good. Add that there. Attention to detail, right? Attention to detail. Sure thing, Sky. Sure thing, man. And thanks as well. Yeah, so as a passenger, you can sit here and just chill. Minus 78 degrees. The speed is 450 miles. Yeah, how are your speeds looking? 715 kilometers per hour. Let's have a look here. How are we doing? We have 85 as we saw in windy, right? When we're looking at winds, we have a huge headwind, and yes, it is 85 knots. So my goodness, supposedly we're at 466 true airspeed. We're only traveling over the ground at 385, 386 because the wind is pushing against us, slowing us down. Yeah. So not the best. Even though that's Mach 0.82 already, there's only 386 knots on the ground when translated. Yikes. Okay, fine. What else do we do? There is something that's cool. Let me see. There's a sat phone. And this, the signal of the satellite phone rather, sat phone. So there is a smartphone, right? It's in airplane mode right now. It doesn't have a signal. But there's also a sat phone. And the signal here is based on, they call it, what is it? Iridium network. I think that's the brand of the satellites. So if you look at here, Iridium Satcom status. Right? So you can see, based on where you are, that's the satellite that's closest, and then they say you can click a satellite, is it? There we go. Iridium 145, that's the lat long. So that's orbiting around, I guess. And based on how close you are, how good the reception is with the Iridium satellites, this signal on the sat phone changes. And when it changes, when it's kind of, for example, low signal, the voice of Jenny on the FBO will also be distorted. So right now with the full reception, let's try and call her.
Hot start flight support. Jenny
It's pretty
speaking.
clear, right? Just
How can we help?
a bit of radio quality here. But yeah, we can prepare in advance, and it's ideal we can call her when we're closer. Actually, we can do that here. But yeah, so we have a way of contacting the FBO, hot start FBO.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
It's pretty cool. So when we're around 30 minutes out, let's simulate that we're calling Jenny and having them get ready for the passengers, right? So we can, so when we arrive, the van will be waiting for them, so we can shut down faster. And yes, all the circuit breakers do work. I don't want to test them though, because I don't want to risk it. We do seem to have a bit of turbulence. Let's go and announce that. There's also a door here, I think. Yeah, I'll test that. So let's go and say there's turbulence.
May we have your attention, please? We have indications that we may encounter some turbulence.
And if you want to close the
Return to
door,
your seat and ensure that your seatbelt is securely fastened.
privacy. Also the PA announcement. The PA is muting out. If you only open it a little, you can hear a little. Yeah, so that level of detail, I love those little details. I wish I could like fill up a glass here and drink, but maybe that's not such a good idea while on the job, huh? One thing I learned as well from Toto here while he was touring us with this, with these things. Apparently, they have like a lock here. And maybe it's that plastic that there, a lock, just so these glasses can remain like that and not have to tumble out. And there's an actual lid that's very classily done. Is this a coffee maker? Maybe coffee even. I don't think we can interact. No, I want some coffee in here, like the sound of a coffee machine, and then you can like sipping sound. Oh, I like that. It's immersion right there. Or we can sit down here and relax. Let the co-pilot do his thing. Oh, that's an amazing view.
A few moments
later, exactly. But yeah, so many things you can do. You can relax. You can study. You can fly. You can compare the numbers. Yeah, let's compare the numbers. Let's be a bit methodical
Challenger
about
1
this.
Charlie Lima descend via the Glasser 1 arrival with DMLP transition to 2,200 feet, altimeter 3011 at Bowen King County International.
Okay, that was fast.
Descend via the Glasser 1 arrival with the MLP transition to 2,200 feet, altimeter 3011, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
So we are being told to already descend.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, contact Seattle Center on 123.9 or 5. Good day.
Let's descend maybe 1,000 feet. 123.9 or 5. Let's switch in a bit.
Center on 123.9 or 5, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Let's report in that we're descending.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima descending to 2,200 feet. Challenger
It's a
1
bit
Charlie
early.
Lima, good morning. Radar contact. Altimeter 3031.
Yeah, that's a bit early, I think. Interesting. I wonder why Pilot to ETC told that. Because top of descent is still not there. We're a bit early. We're like 24 minutes away from top of descent, but it already instructed us. That might get a little hairy.
Altimeter 3031, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Okay, but if we're descending via the SID, then we should follow the SID restrictions anyway. So let's go and read that. Mulan Pass, let's zoom in a bit. Even the scrolling of the chart, it's very realistic. I like it. Mulan Pass, flight level 180, okay. 180 is the leg here. 170. Actually, that's not flight levels anymore. Let's double check. We also have this check airport outside air temperature thing because we need temperature compensation in this area. I'll share you with that later. So let's have a look here and compare. So starting in Mulan Pass. Okay, that's the next one. Yeah, it doesn't expect us to descend until Withrow actually. And in terms of constraints, it's only mainly this one, Jackson at 11,000. Where's Jackson? Do I see it? This one is Jackson. Okay. Turbojets landing Boeing field. That's us at 250 knots. Cross and maintain 11,000. Okay, perfect. That's the one. That's the one that we need to follow. Okay, good. Now, what is this airport outside air temperature for? Let me show you. It's pretty cool. Flight control any better than what MSFS has? You mean the feel? It does feel. I have to do more. Like it's. I'm not sure if it's more real because I don't have real experience, right? But it feels real. So I don't have complaints with how real it is. I only have complaints because I'm so bad at it. But I guess it's just a matter of getting used to it. Yeah. 1 second. So let me see. Let's get the weather, the destination. Let's request the terminal weather again. You mean for ATC? Well, for ATC I'm using Pilot to ATC, so it's the same third-party application that I'm using. And definitely that's better than MSFS. I also use it in MSFS, so it's compatible in both X-Plane and MSFS. Right, here we go. This airport. So we see that the temperature is 11 degrees. Don't think we need to worry about that, but okay, fine. So this is the temperature compensation. It comes with the computation here. If we go to index temp comp on page 2, if we plug in the temperature in there, yes, and execute, that warning should disappear. And if we look at our legs page, during the approach, you see a C there for compensation. And you can look at, if you compare the chart here, at Isoge is supposedly 2,200 above, right? You can see a 30-foot difference. So depending on the temperature, it needs to compensate a bit there. So it is implemented. See, there is this whole temperature compensation calculation, because if you're in colder areas, especially in winter, you'll think you're at 3,000, you're actually only at 2,500 or something like that. So there is a compensation to make sure that you're really at 3,000 when it's at 3,000. That's one of the limitations with our current altimeters during those cold weathers, cold temperatures. It's not accurate, so there needs to be a compensation logic in there. So the colder that is, the bigger the compensation will be. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's have a look here at what's happening. If we look here, 2,200, it does sound strange what ATC is giving us. Let's make this until 11,000 because that's what we saw in Jackson, right? And if you look here, we do have the range to alt here. It says we will be at Jackson. We'll be at 11,000 way before Jackson. I don't get it. I don't really get it. Yeah, this will actually slow us down. You know what? Let's maybe level off. Maybe let's slow down our descent. It's the first time I got this with Pilot to ATC. That their top of descent is not the same. Yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah, MSFS has an external option. You link it with using FSU IPC. You can link it with Pilot to ATC. So Pilot to ATC works with either X-Plane or MSFS. That's what I use all the time because I don't like the default ATC. So let's have a look at any restrictions on this leg on the arrival. Hey Game Theorist, how are you doing? Different sim today. Flight level 180. Yeah, at this rate I think we'll be... Let's have a look. 180 on the altitude. Selector. I'll show what I'm doing. 180 here. Where will we be there? Over there, okay. Okay, now I think it's a bit more believable because we slowed down our descent to 500 feet per minute. And we should be at 18,000 Del Witro actually. 17,000, 10,000. Actually, that is the minimum. That is the minimum en route altitude, I think, the MEA. But that's not really where we should be. Why am I hearing a plane? Is there someone near us? Sure hope not. How's our cabin pressure? It's looking good. Oh yeah, speaking of cabin pressure, we started our descent already. What's the airport elevation? The destination is 22. Okay, we need to adjust our pressurization here. Move it to 22, which is basically 0, something like that. Landing altitude. Alright, so we'll still need to think about something here. Yeah, we do have someone in front of us. Yeah, less than 25 miles. Flight level 280. Where are they? Can't see them yet. No visual. What is the... Okay. Need to have a look here. Because we might go below the minimums for this area. So let's keep it really slow, this descent, so that the top of descent catches up there. Temple is our top of descent now. Let's have a look at MFD data and see how that does. Top of descent is 111. I wonder if that's moving dynamically because we are already descending, right? So I'm wondering if that also changes with us. Not quite sure. I don't think so. Okay. Very weird, this very slow descent. But fine. We'll work with ATC. Let's put in 11,000 here. That's the end of the arrival. And then after that, we'll be getting vectors. Oh, it also transitioned here to, what do you call this? Indicated airspeed. Nice. Didn't expect to be in the air already. We actually took 1.5 hours to get in the air. Just to enjoy as much as we could of this plane. It's amazing. Speed up a little here, maybe 300 knots. It's a bit bumpy, isn't it? But it just has that like right level of turbulence. It's not like just straight line, right? You can feel some bumps here and there, but nothing extravagant. Alright. 101 miles. I am a bit doubtful of that top of descent, if that's updating. 3031 is the altimeter, it says. Okay, let's put that here already. But at the same time, let me see. Based on the weather, 3011 actually is what the altimeter is at the airport itself. Right, so let's update that later. But let's follow ATC in the meantime. Good. How's the time looking? The major downside of this platform X-Plane is the weather, I think. Because unfortunately, one of the hatest things for me, one of the things I hate the most is the weather. Because of the transition, it's still instant, you know? If there is a sudden change in weather, at one point it can be like this, like scattered maybe, or broken clouds, and then it flickers, and then suddenly it's overcast, or suddenly there are no clouds, you know, things like that. Speaking of that, I actually forgot something in active sky. should be plugging in a flight plan in here for an even more accurate representation of the weather. We plug that in. The clouds might flicker for a bit, might change a bit, we'll see. So far it looks good. Okay, good. What's the outside air temperature? Static air temperature is -44. We should not need anti-ice, I believe. I think we only need that from +10 to -10. But if I'm wrong with that, we will see because we should get an ice indication. These were still above clouds. I like those things though. Those things, those kinds of clouds, what do you call them? Cirrus? I don't see them in MSFS. MSFS is more about the floppy cumulus clouds, right? And the cumulonimbus ones. But like the thinner clouds, we don't see them often. More often they look like squished cumulus clouds, which looks a bit off. So in that regard, I guess there is an advantage here. But yeah, in terms of performance, in terms of the looks, definitely not.
Center on 119.22, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Good.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima descending to 2,200 feet.
Challenger 1 Charlie
why is
Lima,
that?
good morning. Radar contact. Altimeter 3023.
3023.
Altimeter 3023, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Oh, and yes, we can also pre-select it here. If we change the barrel to 3023, we can just ready it, but not activate it yet. Alright, let's see. Turbojets landing Boeing Field, Kinko International, 250 knots, maintain 11,000. Yeah, that's Jackson. That's cool. And then probably continue here, or maybe that's the end. Let's see. Let's compare that with the legs page. So we have Isoge. No, that's not it. So Temple, Witro, Odal, Glasser, Jackson is this one. Woody, Heather. Okay, that's the end. And then we expect vectors. 250 heading. Okay, yes. And then where that connects to is the one second. Where that connects to is here with the initial approach fix. So we'll expect vectors, and then we'll be vectored to Isoge to 30 feet with a temperature compensation. 135 degrees is the final approach course. That should be automatically plugged in, I believe, the 110.9 frequency, but we'll have to manually plug in the course 135. So that's where the 22 is coming from, where we were cleared to descend via the SID to 2,200. So that's the altitude of the initial approach fix. Okay, makes sense now where that's coming from at least, even though it's too early, but fine. Good. Which one was that? I think I missed some discussions there. Test for the virus. Oh, did you get it, Jay? Have you recovered now? Hopefully you're feeling better. Yeah, these days, right? It's like more often than not, people are getting it because of the transmissibility. About sinus, I see. Okay. Yeah, in my circles, we have lots of people who have gotten infected. Not because they're, how do you say, not taking care or anything, it's just so transmissible. Top of descent is coming. There we go. Zoom in a bit. And yes, you can map all these buttons as well. That's what I did for the main ones that I use, so that I don't have to fiddle around trying to find the right pixel. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, one thing I forgot.
Descent checklist.
Descent
Shoulder
checklist.
harness.
Shoulder harness.
Passenger signs.
Passenger signs, let's turn that on because we're going through some clouds.
Pressurization.
Yeah, pressurization, I said that already.
Fuel quantity and balance.
Fuel quantity is balanced, yeah, 1990 and 1900.
FMS, landing data, charts.
Oh yes, let's program that in. How many minutes are we? 34 minutes, yeah, I think that's good enough. Let's see if we have signal here already. Still not, still airplane mode. So let's call Jenny and get the van ready for our arrival. Oh, look at the signal. It's pretty poor. Let's hear how Jenny sounds like here. I don't even understand her anymore. I wonder how he... Okay, I guess. That is amazing. Alright, there we go. At least we prepared the van so that when we land, the passengers will be ready to depart immediately. 50 miles from top of descent. Cross-check that here. Empty data says 55 miles. Okay, looks good. Cool. So that should be the VNAV profile then. We shouldn't have to worry so much about manually descending then. From here, we can also enable the perf resume 300 knots VNAV speed. Let the VNAV, the FMS control that, because this is pretty smart. If we have it controlled, if we have the VNAV plan active, it's very smart. If you have the VNAV set up like this, right, the descent, so it will target 0.78 Mach, and when that 0.78 crosses over to 300, it uses 300 knots, which is where we're at. And then in addition, as we descend, when we're close to 10,000 feet, it will slow itself down to 250 knots. So later, this 300 will start counting down 299, 298, 297 as we get closer to 10,000 feet. And then eventually it will reach 250 at 10,000, almost exactly to the dot. It's super smart. Right, getting into some clouds soon. Right now we're cloud surfing, might as well appreciate the views. It's a bit realistic, yeah, very nice. Very nice attention to detail. How bad the reception is and how bad the audio quality is because of that reception. Yes, that's the one. That looks like MSFS in a way, right? With the clouds. Not too shabby. What I like is when the landscape kind of seeps through a bit. Kind of see it a bit there.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, contact Seattle Center on 126.1. Have a good morning.
61. Time to get to work.
Center on 126.1, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
96.1. Okay, looking good.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima descending to 2,200 feet.
Landing data, charts. Oh, that's one thing. Yes.
Radar contact. Altimeter 3025.
025.
Altimeter 3025, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
So we're requesting for winds again, just to be on the safe side. And then 3021, let's program that here. So it's on this side. VHF in progress, that's taking a while. Looks like the signal over here in these parts is pretty bad, huh? Like we have traffic on our right. 3 o'clock and 6. No, 3 o'clock, more or less. Top of descent getting closer. That's good. So yeah, it looks like top of descent is dynamically adjusting as well. That's why it's taking a bit longer for us to reach it, because we are descending ever so slowly. Okay. FMS landing data. Has that not reached yet? Oh, received. There you go. Okay, let's view. This one. What the heck? 1 second. No meter found. Is that real? Okay, let's try that again. Terminal weather. Normally, we should get a notification here in the ICAS when you have a data link when the weather information has arrived. So you know that you can look at the results of the weather now. There it is. Should get that data link notification. There we go. That looks good. Okay. Jan 12, 0153 Zulu. What time is it right now? Right now it's 0231 Zulu, so it's like less than an hour old. Okay, looking good. 2003 knots. Alright. 8 statute miles, visibility, light rain, overcast 3300, not too bad. 1110. Okay, let's plug in the approach information based on these details. 1 second, why is that going away? There we go. Getting into some clouds here. 1 second. Temperature is negative 31. Okay, I think that's okay. We shouldn't need anti-ice. We'll see. Alright, so let's go to perf. Approach. Volumetric clouds in XP12. Yes, same here, same here. That is the thing I am most looking forward to, because that is the most lacking thing in X-Plane right now, the weather, the clouds. So hopefully that gets a real overhaul. 11 degrees. And altimeter is 3011. And I always miss that. There should be a dot there. Otherwise it will expect hectopascals, I think. Okay, we get 1 knot of headwind and 3 knots of crosswind from the right. 10,001 runway length, so no problems there. We do have light rain though, so I guess we can say runway conditions are wet, maybe? That actually extends the... what is ALD? Landing distance. So we need 3,500 out of the 10,000. If we make it a dry runway condition, we will need less. So we'll only need 2,400. So we want a bit more conservative, so let's go with that. And then we have V speeds, 121, 121, 146. I'm not sure what VAC is. Let me know if you're familiar with that. Delta VREF, I'm also not familiar with. We have climb gradients, landing climb gradients for if we need to go around, I guess. Oh, and one thing, we have to plug in the gross weight, the expected gross weight at the airport, so 31.5. So right now it's computing this with 32.2, that one. Now it's 120, okay, good. So we do have our VREF speeds. Thank you for the checklist. Hey, collimator. Definitely collimator. Yes, I have never been so immersed in a plane as this one. And I set up X-Plane from scratch because I already moved to MSFS since the release of MSFS. I took the pains toward setting up X-Plane from scratch for this, and I have no regrets about it. I bought it with my own money as well, so no regrets there.
Approach briefing.
Approach briefing, yes. It's to... actually, we briefed the approach already a while ago.
VNAV transition flight level.
VNAV transition,
Descent
already set.
checklist complete.
Good.
In range checklist next.
Nice. We're seeing through some clouds now. These clouds are volumetric. They're just not optimal, but they are quite nice now. This actually looks like MSFS in a way, right? This actually looks quite nice. The performance isn't as good. It's not bad. We're getting close to top of descent. To be exact, that is 10 miles away. Okay, we should start seeing the snowflake in here. I get that correctly. And we do have VNAV activated because we have see the V there. We are in VVS. So when the snowflake appears, VPath should get armed, and then when we cross that snowflake, VPath should get active. Everything collimator. Enjoy. Yeah. It gives you that sense of ownership. This thing with the state saving is so important. I didn't realize it before. Having to shut down the plane properly, having to start it up properly, otherwise you pay for it the next day, things like that. There's a snowflake. VPath I expect should be armed soon. Maybe when we're closer, if I understand this correctly. Or maybe it doesn't because we're already descending. No, it should still get armed. Okay. Going through some clouds. Getting a bit bumpy. Actually kind of feel like the clouds are we're kind of like surfing over them, right on top of them. Quite nice. Okay. So where are we at now? Withrow. Withrow is the next waypoint. Let's have a look at the chart there. Let's go for the arrival. Withrow is over here. Okay, that's where we are. Nice. And you can see there's a bit, we're not exactly on the waypoint. I think that also is taken into account with this one. Like we are 1 mile away in terms of accuracy on the GPS, on the route of the MLS. We're 1 mile, we're somewhere there within a mile margin of error. That's how I understand it. Oh, clouds changed. Alright, the snowflake is not moving. Why not? Yeah, we should be on top of descent already. I guess because we are descending, it will take a bit longer. Alright, fine. Good. Clouds in here. I'm not sure how icing works in this sim. If it's aggressive, if it's mild, we'll see. I won't enable anti-ice yet. Anyway, it's -24. I don't think we need it. Okay, let's wait for the snowflake. If I go direct here, I think it should tell me at what altitudes it's expecting me to be at. Is it? Might be. So it's expecting me to be at Withrow, flight level 312. Odal, flight level 227. So yeah, we're pretty low actually. That's why the magenta line is still right there. That's the snowflake. Glasser at 17,592. Jackson at 11,000. Yeah, we're still pretty low. But we'll catch it eventually. So no worries there. We're pretty low. Okay. Getting a bit laggy in here. Hang tight, guys. Good. Let's go ahead and see if we need to arm the ILS. We need to load it up, the frequency. Yeah, the frequency still hasn't loaded up. I think that should be automatic. But I also want to fiddle with something. Let me see. If I go for... where was it? I think this one. We can actually preload. Like, we have FMS1 active. And we want to already preload the nav data here. So what we need to do is just load the frequency, right? 1150, so we can put in 110.9. So that reflects there, localizer 1. And then I think what we can do is we can change the course even here as a preset to 135. There you go. So you don't use the course knob. If it's in the preset, you use this data knob here. My goodness, I'm getting such lag. I wonder what's happening. I think it's loading some ortho photos in the background. Hang tight, guys. 135. There you go. So that's plugged in. It hasn't really gotten the it hasn't received the localizer yet. It's not yet getting it, but soon, I hope. Voice is having stutters too. Dang it. Yeah, it's loading that much. Yeah, X-Plane has not been known to be that optimal when it comes to loading. Hopefully it normalizes soon after loading. I think it's because it's loading SeaTac. We're pretty close to SeaTac. Yeah, that's a huge airport. So even though we're not landing there, we're getting affected by it. So in terms of minimum altitude, are we okay? It's now good. Okay, thank you. So yeah, 17,000 at Odal and then 10,000 after that. In terms of altitude, we have terrain at 8,900. I think that's what that is. 8,900 T. If I'm getting that right. Over here it's 9,400. And right now we are at 19,000. Okay, we're good in terms of terrain avoidance at least. Alright. Let's turn off track IR here just so it wouldn't adjust the camera so much, because whenever I move the camera, maybe it loads some other objects. Let's try to keep it stable. Oh my goodness, that went dark. Whew. That looks pretty scary. How are we doing? True air temperature is 2 degrees. Static air temperature is -19. Getting pretty close to that icing condition. But I still don't want to turn on anti-ice just because... oh, that's beautiful. Hey, that's not bad, eh? That's not bad. Goodness. Love that. Pushing through. Shooting through the clouds. Very nice. Let's study this again. Maybe I should start loading up the frequencies. D8 is... there is an D8 is, okay. 119.2 for the approach, okay. 119.2. Okay. Goodness, I like how dark it is. Really looks scary, right? Like you're really inside the soup. Thankfully it's not too bumpy. Keeping my fingers crossed. Yes, let's have a look here. Legs page.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, contact Seattle Center on 120.3. Enjoy your morning.
Okay.
Center on 120.3, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
It's like we're overwriting that then.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima descending to 2,200 feet.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact. Altimeter 3024.
3024.
Altimeter 3024, Challenger 1
should
Charlie
we switch him
Lima.
now? Good. 3024. Switch to local altimeter. Here we are. And let me also set up pilot to ATC. So right now there is that disconnect with the altimeter setting. Okay, looks good. Good. Still punching through some clouds here. Yeah, to get to Jackson, you need to be descending at 1.5, 1,000. Yeah, you can see here, if we want to go to Jackson, if we want to arrive at Jackson at 11,000, then we have to be descending at 1,000 feet per minute. But then again, it's trying to aim for a 3-degree descent rate. If we look at the VNav setup here, right, 3-degree vertical path angle. So it will wait for that to go 3 degrees, I guess, before it does the V path for us. So we are indeed below it. Let's wait for that to happen. Now what should happen now, I'm expecting soon, is that this 300 knots should start going down bit by bit to 250. Because we're getting close to Jackson. So let's observe that. And we'll adjust. Oh my goodness, that looks beautiful. I didn't expect to see this in Explain. Let's go outside and see how that looks. And even more loading. I think I'm really taxing my system here. Okay, there you go. I might have to lower my settings a bit. I'm using max texture sizes and whatnot. Oh, too bad you can't see it so much. Oh, there you go. It's a sneak peek. Man. Yeah, we're losing some frames. Let's go inside. It's a bit too much. I think I have to lower my texture settings. But I don't want to do it now because it might be unstable. So for next time, I'll lower them now. Oh, there you go. Suddenly that's over. Second, let's go outside again. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, that looks great. That looks amazing. Hello, Washington. Look at those mountains right there. Oh yeah, the stuttering is crazy. I hope it stabilizes soon. That's my VRAM getting eaten up fully. Okay, let's stay inside. All the things look now. I guess I'm stuttering. The voice is probably cutting off. Bear with me, it's loading stuff. Why not change the view? Oh my goodness, it's really struggling. The CPU is maxed out. Yeah, I'm losing frames left and right. Guys, it's loading stuff. I'm not sure what, but yeah, my CPU is maxed out. 94%, 95%, all threads utilized, and I have no idea what it's loading. Yes, it's XP. Yeah, I think it's loading the scenery. Okay, I think it's done. Not quite, but yeah, it's better. Yeah, it loaded lots of stuff there, I think. Okay, good. Yeah, looks like those mountains have a hefty price, huh? Maybe that's CTAC that it's loading. I don't know. But let's try not to move the camera so much. Yeah, I have to lower my texture settings. It's eating up all my VRAM, I think. So with the VRAM having to unload and reload, maybe the scenery has to be unloaded and everything as well. I'm not sure how it works. Yeah, looks like not ideal. Oh, look at this, it's starting now. 299, 298, 297, right? Pretty cool. Pretty cool how that works. So we should get to Jackson at 250 knots. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, although in this case, it's not the GPU that's... Although, yeah, in terms of VRAM, yeah, you're right. 10 gig is not enough. Although I should be able to go to high textures because I'm using max. Oh, even my RAM is fully utilized. 32 gig of RAM, guys. I'm at 93% utilization. Oh my goodness. Do you want to test how it works with high? You want me to lower the setting now, see if it gets better? Or should we just bear it through? 32 gig isn't enough for all this. If I lower my texture settings, it might be enough. I hope that works though. Yeah, my goodness. RAM is at 93%. Time up anyway. Yeah, I guess that will be the end of the stream. It will be a bit anticlimactic though if you don't get to see the end of it. Oh, look at that. Finally, VPath is active. Only now did we follow the vertical guidance. Nice. Here we are. Okay, yeah, let me lower it. I think it will be helpful. Let me do that. So if you look at the graphics, oh, actually not too bad there. If you go too high, maybe. Yeah, that should lessen it a bit. That should make it a bit more manageable. It will load stuff up in the background. Leave it running for a bit. Okay, that should be good, I think. Or not. Okay, it's going to load stuff up again. Yeah, that's 32 gig already. I was 16, I upgraded to 32. Okay, it's loading stuff up again, hopefully for the last time. 64 gig now. This is explain optimization. I have to tweak my settings. Other streamers don't have this problem. So it's just a matter of finding the right settings. It's just tricky. Because sometimes it works for the most part. And then you get to heavy scenery and your system gives out. So yes, now I've encountered the heavy stuff, so dial it down. Okay, now it's better, right? I think now it's better. There we go. Getting back to normal bit by bit. Alright, looking good. Cool. Let's get back to business. So you can see header is the end point there, and then we should expect to get some vectors.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, contact Seattle approach on 119.2. Have a good morning.
There we go, 19 to...
Approach on 119.2 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Right, and then we also want the tower. Tower is 120.6, so we'll load that up to prepare. 26 looks good. Right, let's go say hello.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima descending to 2,200 feet.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, good
Those
morning.
mountains.
Radar contact.
Beautiful.
Continue descent via the Glassroom 1 arrival. For the ILS approach to runway 14 right at Boeing King County International.
Good thing.
Continue descent via the Glassroom 1 arrival for the ILS approach to runway 14 right Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
It's good. Look at this, perfect, right? 250 knots at 11,000, we're almost there. It's doing things on its own. Amazing. Okay, let's see. Are we in range? Not quite. Yeah, that's the one thing you see. The weather just suddenly changes at you, and even though it's mostly still the same, like scattered or broken clouds, it looks different now. The formations, the cloud formations are different. Oh, that one looks amazing. Goodness. Ooh, and then that bit of fog there, right? Very nice looking. Not too shabby. Hey, Barry. Yeah, still playing X-Plane indeed. How are you, man? Right, let's have a look. 250 cross at maintain. Cross and maintain 12,000. No. Turbojets landing field king. Yeah, this is us. Cross at and maintain 11,000. So why are we descending? No, we're at VLV. Okay, perfect. Yeah, VLV. Good. So even though we set up 2,200, it's staying at 11,000. Perfect. Okay, good. So let's also plug that in 11,000, because I'm expecting when we're given vectors, we'll also be given instructions on the descent. Let's turn off zoom here so I don't accidentally zoom my camera. Good. And the VNAV is not completely accurate up to this point because there is a discontinuity in our flight plan, so it cannot really detect that. Double check if we have the ILS in range already. Not yet. I don't think we do. Let's see, nav1 on 0.9. Yeah, not yet. 11,000 until header, and then we'll get some vectors to Isoge. Isoge is where? Isoge seems like it's right there, right? So from header we turn right. Probably something like that. Okay, looks good. Let's wait for those vectors then. And in the meantime, enjoy the view, guys. More things doing in on-air, Barry. I tried putting this in on-air. It's not compatible at the moment, unfortunately. It's not detecting the It's not detecting my that I'm starting the engine. Okay, last leg before we go vectors. So I'm expecting some vectors from ATC now. Nice. Are you earning money in the VA? Hey, Mr. Culture Shop. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the follow. Looking good. Man, yeah, goodness. This is what I miss, right? All the systems working, can do a proper IFR flight. And now this is definitely VATSIM capable. Although they do have some bugs currently with VATSIM altitude, because the plane is so advanced, so realistic, that even VATSIM, what VATSIM is getting is a bit misaligned with what they expect, because they have come to expect so much that the planes have like perfect altimeter, perfect altitude, which is not the case in reality. So there's a bit of adjustment in there, but I'm expecting it to get ironed out soon. Okay, looks good. Are we in range? I guess we could be
in range. Checklist. APU.
Yeah, we can start the APU.
Started. Altimeters. 3 set, cross-checked. Avionics.
Avionics is good.
External lights.
External lights, we're at 11,000, but fine. Yes, let's turn on the landing lights already.
N1 target.
Lights. N1 target, let's move that to takeoff in case we need to go and do a
set.
Go around.
APU PAX transition.
Now this one, what I understand it's doing, it's trying to remove some load from the engine.
Veil completed.
It's transferring the packs, the air conditioning packs to the APU, so that the engine has more power. That's how I understand it. So maybe when you need to go do a go around, you don't have to, how do you say, you have more power for going around. That's how I understand it, at least. Kind of makes sense. Gas is okay.
In range checklist complete. Before landing checklist next.
Okay. Not quite ready for that yet, but yes, Soge is right there, so I'm expecting a sharper right turn. We'll probably do like an extended downwind here. And the airport is right there. On our 1 o'clock. Do you see it? Do you see anything? It'd actually be closer. Let's go outside. Have to do your check ride from an airstrip. Yeah, you have to choose a different airport, I think. Here we go again with the loading. Here's the airport. Oh my goodness, that doesn't look that bad. It does perform quite poorly now because of all the things I'm loading. But in terms of visuals, my goodness. Not bad at all. 11 a.m. hype. Yeah, looks like we're extending a bit. Finish the flight. So many new screenshots in this flight. So scenic. Glad I took you on this leg. Goodness. Yay.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima turn right heading 2903 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 14 right at Boeing King County International.
Okay, 2903.
Heading 2903 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 14
slow
right,
down to 200 knots.
Lima.
Let's get 1 notch of flaps. I think I extended it a bit too much. There we go. My bad, my bad. There we go. Speed checks. 239. Go to heading mode. There we go.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima turn right heading 2903.
Oh, 2903, sorry.
Heading 2903 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Yeah, indeed. So we're on like a down leg in here. So that's the airport. We'll be approaching from that side. Looks good. I also like that you see there that magenta broken line there on the PFD. It shows you the extended center line, so you have an idea of where you should be lining yourself up even if you're far from the airport. It's a very nice visual aid. Good. Just disclaimer guys, don't expect much from the landing, okay? I don't get quite the dynamic quite yet. Okay, let's see. Flight plan discontinuity, that's okay. We don't really need that now. What I can actually do is switch to the nav one, because we're in heading mode anyway, so we can press nav source. There we go, localizer 110.9. That should be accurate with the chart, 110.9 indeed. Course is 135 degrees, that's perfectly set up there. Should I set it up here
Charlie
too?
Lima, turn right heading 318.
318.
Heading 318 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
There we go, that's perfect downwind right there. Downwind leg. Oh, it looks like the localizer is alive, right? Looks like it is. But for some reason I don't see that. Oh, there it is, 6.3 miles. There we go. Okay, perfect. And there's the identifier, India Bravo Foxtrot India. Yeah, that's the same identifier. Looks good. Let's also set that up here to be properly correct in that sense. Oh crap, no. Wrong button. So let's go and set the nav source to lock 2, but change the course to 135. Something like that, so you have both aligned, 51 and 2. Good. Right, downwind leg. Should be asked to turn to the left soon enough. And then we'll slow down to 160. Go to flaps 30 and lower our landing here. We have our VREF set up. 31.5. Is that still the same estimated fuel? 31. It's a bit less. That's okay. I mean, we could be accurate about it, I guess. So we could put in
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, turn left heading 2903.
2903.
Heading 2903 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Okay.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, turn left heading 225.
225, okay.
Challenger.
Heading 225 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
But the commands are a bit overlapping. 225, yeah, 200 knots, yes. So we're turning base now. I think it's time we lower our speed to 160 knots. And our V speeds are 119, so later on we'll go VREF plus 5. 119 plus 5 is 124 will be our final approach speed. Okay, looking good. Slowing down to 160. Okay, that's looking good. Let's go one more notch of flaps, so our angle of attack's not that high. I think that looks good. We'll be asked to turn left any moment now, please. Where's the ILS needle though? Yeah, I'm expecting like there is a needle in here. The CDI or HSI. Message.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima cleared for ILS to runway 14 right, fly heading 178 to intercept final descent and maintain 2,200 feet.
Cleared for ILS approach to runway 14 right, fly heading 178, descend and maintain 2,200 feet Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
On the approach, PS are way down. maybe 1,000 feet per minute. Right. Looking good. Why am I at V Alt V? 11,000 still. Oh, I should turn off the VNav. Dang it. Yeah. I should have removed that because we're not using the FMS anymore. Let's go and descend faster, please. Thank you. Yeah, a bit steeper.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima altimeter 3009er at Boeing King County International Contact Tower on 118.3. Have a good one.
Altimeter 3009er tower on 118.3 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Localizer is armed. Let's go and report our approach. We're inbound. Yes, pilot ATC.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima inbound for ILS approach to runway 14 right.
Pretty
Challenger
low.
1 Charlie Lima, good morning.
High here though.
Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 14 right call when established on final.
Let's go for, I think we need to dive here. Let's see if flight level change. Right. See if we can descend steeper, and if we go maybe full speed brakes, is that possible? Flight spoilers are deployed, yes. Just to really slow things down and descend faster. Wondered if this is a safe thing to do. Yeah, the runway is right there. We weren't given descent instructions a while ago, which is weird. I'm also not sure why we don't have the... Oh, I think it's because it's this one. The localizer is this one instead. Yeah, it looks like it's raining lightly. That's okay, we can catch up. I think we can start slowing down here to... What was it? 124. There you go. Yeah, we're too high. Might need to go around here. Still seeing if I can catch up here. We do have full flaps. Now, looking good. Alright.
Before landing checklist. Landing gear level. Down indicating. No steer. Arm centered clear. Anti-skid.
Good.
Hardened tested. Passenger signs. On. Wing cowl anti-ice.
Why is the glide slope way up there though? Maybe I'm too far away, the deflection is too much.
Continuous ignition. On. Thrust reversers. Armed. Spoilers.
Spoilers. 1 second. I cannot remove them yet. So I want to descend as fast as possible. Trying to catch up. Oh my goodness, I'm too high. Yeah, that's rain. Feels like Star Wars, right? The rain effects aren't the best. But it's not bad. I mean, you can believe it at some point. Okay, we're catching up. 2,100. Are we able to catch up that fast though? I don't think so. Yeah, I think we'll be able to test a go around here soon. And then with go arounds, you actually get some help from the co-pilot, thankfully. I just don't know the exact sequence of what to do. Yeah, we're too high. We won't make it, guys. Dang it. Okay.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima winds are 120 at 6 knots, clear to land runway 14 right.
Yeah, that's not going to work. Clear to land, but we're too
Clear
high.
to land runway 14 right, Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
We're leveling off here. So it looks like that's not going to work. Let's go ahead and what do I do?
2,500.
I don't know what to do, guys. Okay, let's do this. Track the flight spoilers. We're going around. So arm go around. There you go. Alright, looking good.
Gear up indicated. Positive rate.
Right, let's tell them that we went around. Report missed approach. Going around.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima going around. Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, execute the published missed approach for ILS to runway 14 right contact approach on 119.2 to request another approach.
Okay.
Execute the published missed approach for ILS to runway 14 right approach on 119.2 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
It's not looking good what I'm doing. 6,400 is our altitude. To 200 knots here.
Go
So
around
we're
thrust
following.
set.
Okay. Okay, all the things are happening now. Oh my goodness. Come on guys, I just want to land. Hang in there. Hang in there.
A few moments later.
Oh, this is interesting. It's actually a pressurization. 119.2, we have to switch to 119.2 after this entire debacle of loading finishes. Just check fuel destination. I don't quite get it if that's a bug or something I'm doing wrong. But they do have plenty of fuel. I don't quite get that. Okay, let's report that we are on the approach. Or that we are climbing, maybe.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima climbing to 2,200 feet.
That's not really where I'm climbing, but fine.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact. Turn right heading 291 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 14 right at Boeing King County International.
291,
Heading
okay.
291 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 14 right Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Okay, let's try this again, guys. Let's follow the ATC, see if it will work.
Set go around thrust. Flaps 20. Gear up.
Oh, that's what
Set
should be
FMS
doing.
now. Set FLC 200 knots. Ready for immediate return checklist.
Challenger 1
overspeeding.
Charlie Lima, turn right heading 291.
What's it doing? I think the auto steps were conflicting with that what I wanted to
Immediate
do.
return checklist.
There you go.
Pressurization. Set. Altimeters. Set cross-checked. Thrust reversers. Armed. Landing data.
Yeah,
Approach
that looks
briefing.
good.
Fuel quantity and balance.
Still good.
CAS. Immediate
Good.
return checklist complete.
Good.
Before landing checklist next.
Nice. Alright, let's do this again properly this time. 200 knots. Laps 20. Speed check. Yes, good. Right, 239. Let's see. Let's see how this works, okay? And then in
Challenger
terms
1
of
Charlie Lima,
approach,
turn right heading 306.
306, okay. 306. Okay. Let's do an approach here. Performance, departure arrival, ILS-14, right? Vectors, execute. Flight plan discontinuity, that's okay. And in the legs page, what we'll do is we'll start at Isoge. The leg in Isoge, is that it? Is that right? Yeah, so that then activates the vectors to final, I think. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's see if that's better. We have FMS1. FMS1 on both. We can switch to localizer 1 again on both. There we go. I still don't get what I don't. Oh, 1 second. Maybe it's the view I have here. 1 sec. Oi, 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 oi. Tap it. Oh, thank you. That's amazing. It actually saved me. Stick shaker for stall. That is super cool. Because we didn't have ATS enabled. There we go. The auto thrust was not working. Let's go and turn on autopilot again. There you go. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Now it's working. Wow, the systems actually work and prevent you from screwing up. Good test. Good test. Alright. Let's go and stay at 2,200 maybe, because it seems like ATC for some reason is not guiding us with the altitude. So maybe we have to do that on our own. 2,200. Let's go and VS ourselves down. Maybe 1,000 feet per minute should be good. Alright, that looks good. Okay, perfect. Alright, so what was I wanting to do? Of course I forgot it now. I'll have to practice that go around approach. So apparently I have to press the checklist progress so he does stuff step by step and helps me out. So I did everything on my own and then I pressed the checklist button. So he kind of did it twice. I should just let him do his thing. Okay. Isoge, Toge. Okay, good. Looks good. Oh yeah, what I wanted to see was this one, the format. Yeah, that's the one. Why am I in Peoples? I want the rose one. Yes, that's why. Okay, that was weird. Did I activate it a while ago? Yeah, because I was looking for the HSI. Yeah, those needles to tell me if I'm close or not. Unable next alt. What is next alt? Why? It's okay, just descend. Just descend and follow me.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima, turn right heading 051.
051.
Heading 051 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
051. Good. Are we descending fast enough now? I have no idea. Let's have a look at our PPOS when we'll arrive at 2,200. Yeah, I think we have to descend steeper. Good. That should help.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima cleared for ILS to runway 14 right, fly heading 117 to intercept final.
117. There you go, and then arm the approach so that it's following the localizer needle in. And then in terms of 2,200, there we go, that's more like it. That's more like it. We should be good there. And in terms of the approach here, there we are. Final approach fix is at Isoge. No, it's at Toge at 1600 actually. Okay, so let's go 1600. Should be there at Toge before then. Okay, that's perfect. Nice. Alright, we're doing much better than the first run, I think. Let's slow down to 160 knots again. There we go.
Challenger 1 Charlie Lima altimeter 3009er at Boeing King County International Contact Tower on 118.3. Have a good morning.
Altimeter 3009er tower on 118.3 Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Okay, glide slope and localizer are captured. That's perfect. And now let's go and go to flaps 30. Gear down. Follow that down. And then let's tune into tower and report that we are established. My goodness, all this automation is essential with
Challenger
this
1 Charlie
stuff.
Lima established on final for ILS runway 14 right. Challenger 1 Charlie Lima winds are 135 at 6 knots clear to land runway 14 right.
Nice. Oh, look at that. Is that Seattle? Oh, that's Seattle, I think. Oh, no wonder it's so laggy because it's loading Seattle, even the Space Needle in there. I see. That's why. Okay. Yeah, makes sense now. This is one of the busiest places you can load, probably. Okay, let's go to 124. Easy does it. Right. Let's go also flaps 45.
Before landing checklist. Landing gear lever. Down indicating.
Down.
No steer. Arm centered clear. Anti-skid.
He's
Hard
testing
tested. Passenger signs.
Missed approach.
On. Wing cal anti-ice.
Altitude is 6,600, was it? 6,400. Okay. 6,400. So let's adjust our altitude selector that way. Heading bug align. That is 135 degrees. There you go. We have some proper winds in front of us. VREF. Have a look. 119 plus 5, 124. Okay, perfect. Do we have the airport, the runway in sight? That's it. Right there. Okay, looking good. Looking good now. Looking much better at least. Good. Let's see how it works. We're clear to land, right? Yes. Everything looks good there. APU has been on the entire time. We're starting to get a bit of imbalance. Starting to run low on fuel. Not really low, but lower than what I am used to. Good. Let's keep it there. 0.6 angle of attack. That's the perfect for approach, around 0.6 AOA.
1,000.
Good. Alright, let's go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. Right, and then let's also disconnect the auto throttle. And handle this on our own. Right. I guess we can also use the HUD, although I'm not very familiar with the HUD. Might be a bit challenging. Stable. Just applying small adjustments. Should not try to butter it because I often float when I try to do that. Looking good, looking stable. V-speed's looking good. I see the glide slope up ahead. Too white, too red.
500.
Lowering thrust a bit so we can descend a bit more. Good there. Wind's coming from the left just a tad, but mostly in front. Okay. Okay, that's good. Getting a bit low, I think. Right, getting a bit too low now. There we go. That should be okay. Let's keep it this way. Keep my eyes outside.
100.
Looks good. I'll take it.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. It's not too bad. Let's get the
Challenger 1
reversers
Charlie
in.
Lima exit runway 18.
Flight spoilers. Let's get the airport in there. Actually, even the default airports in this sim, not bad at all. Not bad looking. Yeah. Looks good. Where are we going, I wonder? Left or right? Let's go left. Seems more cozy there. Back to X-Plane, yeah. Inchworm, smooth. Yes, I'm surprised it actually was smooth. Thank you. I've had worse flights, worse landings than that. The go around, it did not go smoothly. We almost stalled, but thankfully the stall protection was there. You saw it working a while ago, that stick shaker and everything. Got us back on track. And I think the sim crashed. No, it's good. It's just loading so much. It's so taxed right now. Flight sim experience, yeah. Definitely a bit raw in some places, right? The performance side is very wanting. Yes, I have to lower my settings a lot, looks like. I was a bit too optimistic. Come on, come on.
Clear of active Challenger 1 Charlie Lima.
Okay, goodness, we've extended so long
Challenger
because
1
of that go
Charlie
around.
Lima, welcome to Boeing King County International Contact Ground on 121.9er. Enjoy your morning.
Good, thank you. Subtract our flaps. Subtract our speed brakes. Goodness, that is intense performance. Yeah, when I'm flying offline, there is no problem like this. But yeah, the streaming, it's a completely different beast. I have to get used to the settings for streaming.
Continuous ignition. On. Thrust reversers. Armed. Spoilers. Stowed auto. Flaps. CAS. Before landing checklist. After landing checklist.
There we go, that's the one
Landing,
I want.
pulse, recog lights.
Turn those off, thank you. Oh, that's me? Okay.
Off. Anti-collision lights. Off. Continuous ignition. Off. Windshield
Park it up here.
Off. Probes.
Starting off the window heated
Off.
probes now.
Wing anti-ice. Off. Cowl anti-ice.
Good.
Spoilers. Stowed. Flaps. 0. ATC TCAS. Alt on. Radar mode. Standby. After landing checklist complete. Engine shutdown checklist next.
I'm at slowing down. There you go. Alright. Yeah, it's the way it loads stuff in the background. I think the satellite images and everything, it's not very optimized, I think, depending on what you
Engine
load.
shutdown checklist.
Alright,
Taxi
that's
lights.
better.
Off. Parking brake. Set.
That's set.
Reverse thrust. Stowed. Generators 1 and 2.
Yeah, we can turn those off now.
Off. Engine 2 shut down.
And shut down engine 2.
Fuel boost pumps.
Turn those off.
Off. Fuel
And then
system.
we'll notice the same thing here. We'll look for the right low pressure this time. There we go. Looks good.
Engine 1 shut down.
Now we can shut down engine 1.
Check ITT below 350 degrees Celsius.
It is below.
Anti-ice. On beacon.
November 7 Delta Charlie, fly straight out. I'll call your turn.
And second, 14 stage is what I didn't turn off. If I can click it, beacon is off.
No steer. Off.
It's off.
ATC TCAS.
Put that in 00 and standby.
Standby 0. Parking brake if chalked.
Let's go get some chalks in so that now the opposite, right? Pretty cool.
November 37 Foxtrot, continue inbound.
Passenger signs. Cabin differential.
Angle for a half mile.
0 psi. Engine shutdown checklist complete.
There
Secure
we go.
checklist next.
Nice. Okay, chalks are good. Let's go and get our passengers off-boarded. Oh my goodness. Come on, you can do it. You can do it, system. Oh. Come on, you can do it. Just a bit more. Almost there. You can carry it through. Little slow, steady movements. Okay. What the heck is like loading in the background? This is the laggiest I've ever seen it. Of course, everything happens when you're streaming. Okay, just go there. Let's close that door. Pull that up. Push it back out. And then look outside. Smell the fresh air. The van should appear soon because we called in advance.
Our ride is here.
There
Thank
you
you, Captain. Always such a pleasure flying with you.
Sure
Have
thing.
a nice rest of your day.
You guys enjoy that stall and go around? Alright, good. So they're out. Now we can clean up the plane.
Secure and checklist. Emergency lights.
Yeah, it shouldn't be as laggy. It's my system, I think. Combinations are not good. Have to tweak the settings.
AC DC utility switch.
Birthing pains rather. Turn off the switch that turns off the utilities and the passengers.
Headsets. Thrust reversers.
Reversers, we can turn those off.
Chocks.
Chocks are good.
Brake. Hydraulic
Parking
pump.
brake is set. Pumps, yes, we can turn them off.
Nav lights. Logo light.
Nav lights and logo light we can now turn off.
APU generator.
Now when we turn off the APU generator, it will turn off the checklist, so it will stop. So I have to do this on my own first before I do that. So let's stop the packs. Let's turn off the LCV and the 10-stage isolation valve. And then I think that's good. Yeah, and now we can turn off the APU. Stop it. Turn off the power. Oh, that's super cool. And now it's super quiet. And now we're just waiting for the APU to disappear. This one, I think, goes out at 1 minute. So we'll wait a bit. Now it's much better. Now it is much better. In terms of, at least it's still, FPS is still a bit bad, but yeah, I think it's when you look in another direction, it starts loading the objects. It has to unload some others. And that's the one that's taking a huge toll on the system. So I think the best course of action is to stop moving. Long stream, yay, I know, right? Goodness. I'm happy we landed in one piece. But yes, I'll have to tweak the settings here. Or maybe avoid Seattle. I still don't get why we get this check fuel at destination. Yeah, I don't quite get that. Unless there's a destination that I have not plugged in properly, but I've had that more than once. Not sure really what is the cost there. And then everything else I think is good.
Sovereign 7 Delta Alpha, without delay cross runway 9 or left. Or you can delay, I have no traffic on
And then we
final.
can go and turn
turn
off
left on
pilot to
Delta,
ATC
default
as
ground
well.
1 9er. Thanks for your help.
And get some music in maybe. As the things start getting loaded, cool down. Later on we'll close up the plane, go back to the FBO, and that will be that. Oh, there it is. Finally it's gone. Okay, good. Turn off the battery. And the plane is fully shut down now. Oh, I wish I could have checked the HLIS just to see what the Delta G's could be. I like this feeling. This like from the door here, and then as you go out and peek out and see your engine like this, it feels like a rich man kind of thing, right? Peeking out of your business jet. Oh my goodness. So fancy. Okay, this is the hardest part here. The closing the door. I think it should be okay though. Push it up. There we go. And then lock it in. Push it in. And it should be good. I'm not sure if it should also put these guys here or if that's still hot normally. But let's just put it for safety. Okay. Come on. That's it. We should be good. Oh my goodness. That one, I missed one. There you go. The fans are still spinning because of the air, I think. Let's get to the FBO. Where's the FBO? Somewhere here. There we go. Ooh, this is intense. All the loading happening. There we go. Anyway, back in the office in Boeing King International this time. Alright guys, let's end the stream here. Let's maybe hang out by the office. We finished the flight. I hope I can tweak the settings next time so it's better, less stuttery. But yes, looking forward to flying this more. Anyway, hope I was able to showcase a bit. I might be stuttering like crazy in here. I see everything happening down. But yes, thank you. Have a good day. Catch you soon. And yes, let's see how this progresses. Thanks and bye-bye.